Fellow Falcoholics, what is up? Welcome to the Falcoholic Lives Falcons vs. Ravens preseason week 2 watch party. I am joined once again by my co-host Adnan Ikic to bring you guys all 4 quarters of Taylor Heineke / John Paddock action that we're going to get today because the Falcons have basically inactivated every single starter and second string player on the roster for the most part. So it's an interesting decision. We're definitely going to talk about that obviously today as well. Before we do intros and everything, do want to real quick bring everyone our sponsorship information before we could just focus entirely on this preseason game. Appreciate everyone's patience with the delayed start today. Real quick, want to bring you guys a word once again from our sponsor, BetOnline, folks. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football, from the preseason, NFL, and again, degenerate stuff, right? Only a little bit of judgment from us if you were to bet on this preseason game. But, you probably would have bet on the second stringers, and they're not even going to play today. So, that's, again, the folly of preseason betting. But we've also got college football kicking off real soon, and BetOnline's got every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. And think you know your stuff? You can get in on BetOnline's new winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for the upcoming season. It's going to be a fun one. If you haven't played Survivor before, it's an interesting format, very intense, very sweaty game, but good stuff there as well if you're into that. And when the game's over, you can head on over to BetOnline's online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of BetOnline's over 150 slots games. So what are you waiting for, folks? Head to that website today, BetOnline, and use our promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, and get in on the action. BetOnline, the game starts here. All right, so officially welcoming you guys to our coverage, which the game will get started here somewhat soon. We'll see how close they are to kickoff time. I'm, of course, Kevin Knight at Falcoholic Kevin, joined by my co-host Adnan Ikic at Say Which Way once again. Adnan, how are you doing on this fine Saturday morning?
Good. I finished up my coffee about an hour ago because, yeah, we will not go live earlier than today at all in the year other than day 3 of the draft.
Yep, that's right.
So, yeah, we're here for some afternoon preseason action in what is, a glorified week 4 preseason game of years past. So, we will get our Carlos Washington versus Jace McClellan. We'll get our Chris Blair and third string wide receiver battle, and and the sort. I was intrigued by seeing that Contavious Street is not playing either. So I guess
Yeah.
he's on the 53-man roster.
So, yeah.
Unless they're just screwing him and they're like, we're gonna cut you anyway without
Yeah. I mean, after last week, I felt really conflicted about the interior group, but it's been like that all offseason. Like, who is getting left off this interior group? That's a big question, and that's definitely a good topic as we await kickoff here. Yeah, I mean, I think, are we gonna have the conversation like that Brandon Dorlus may just get cut, like, and have to go to the practice squad or just get claimed? I mean, I would hate that.
that would be a really bad look on
Yes.
this regime to cut your fourth rounder.
Yep. But
That would
teams
be
do it. Teams do that sometimes. And I
I mean,
mean,
yeah, they do it, but it's like not smart teams.
yeah. It's like again, it kind of, and like Zion Logue looked good last week too, but it's like you can't keep 3 rookie
Yeah,
interior
there's no way
defensive
Zion
linemen.
Logue. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No,
I
there's no
get
way. Yeah.
is
And
making
like
this.
for him, it's like, okay, he was like a late 6th. So
Yeah,
it's like, okay,
yeah.
that's like normal, but
But it's
yeah.
like Brandon Dorlus, like, all right, this is your fourth rounder.
Yeah.
Like, sure, he doesn't have to, contribute year 1, but he needs to be on the roster at the very least, because I think if you put him on the practice squad, someone is going to snag him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also I remember in a press conference after camp one day, Terry Fontenot said that what they'll do, and this could be some, just speak for the media, is they're going to rank the 53 best players regardless, 1 through 53, regardless of position, and that's going to be a way of uh, going through and deciding what the final 53-man roster is going to be. So maybe we'll see it lighter in another position and they carry more interior defensive linemen, but we'll see all of that officially in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a tough situation because like I mean, I agree. Contavious Street, like, I mean, he blew like he played like 7 snaps and had like I feel like he had a pressure or an impact play on like almost every single one of those 7 snaps. And yes, it's against second string guys, but still, like, I mean, when we saw him last year, he was playing well too. So it's like if you're gonna keep him and you're gonna keep Eddie Goldman as your nose tackle, and you've got Taquan Graham, who clearly is gonna make it as well. You've got Grady Jarrett and David Onyemata, who are clearly gonna make it as well. Like, are they gonna keep 7 guys? I mean, I guess there's nothing saying they can't just keep an extra guy and just have him inactive. I mean, you can do roster math however you want. So maybe they'll do something like that. Like I think a few years ago they kept like 8 wide receivers or something for like a little while. It was like some crazy number of wide receivers for like a week or two, and then they distributed them out later. But
I think it will be we're gonna see it lighter elsewhere,
yeah,
and then I don't know where exactly, but I think they'll keep the extra defensive linemen probably because they just like the defensive linemen so well. But we don't know. Like I will genuinely be upset if they cut Dorless.
yeah.
I think that'll be a black eye on Terry Fontenot's draft this year, and Fontenot's not a GM who has drafted very well in general. So I mean, we'll see. I don't think that's the plan because I think they know that it's also a bad look if they do cut their fourth rounder.
Yeah, and I mean it's like I think they took Dorless because he was just good value there. Like I don't think they necessarily went into the fourth round with like the idea that we're taking a defensive tackle. I think they just thought Dorless was the best value at that spot. And I think they were right. Like I do think that was a great value pick. Maybe the best value pick of their entire draft, but their defensive interior is so stacked that it's like you're going to have a really hard time
Yeah,
finding
but
space
at
for
the
him.
same
So,
time,
yeah.
next year, look, you're
Yeah, yeah.
already down fifth because of the tampering charge. You're now down to third because of the Judon trade, and you already sacrificed the extra third you had to move up for Ruka Rororo. You can't really afford to just waste draft picks at this point. But this is we're just speaking in hypotheticals right now because there's other than Contavious Street, playing or excuse me, not playing well last week and then being inactive this week. There's no indication that they will move on from Dorless. I'm just saying, in the hypothetical, that would be a really bad look and a really bad move.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they'll do whatever they can to make that not happen. And we'll see. Things can always change over the next 2 weeks. In terms of who's going to make the roster. It's always good to have the depth too, because you never know when you're going to need the depth to step up. So we'll see how it develops. But that was one that was interesting to me. Ross Dwelly, another guy that was inactive at tight end. Again, that list is probably the guys that are making the roster. Like if we're being completely honest, like those are the guys that are probably making the roster because I can't see why they would take guys off the field who are legitimately fighting for those spots because that would just really hurt them for no reason. Like those players don't want to sit. Like they don't want to sit. Trust me. So, I also love shout out to Taryn Wack doing great work over there, but I love Arnold Ebiketie instead of outside linebacker. It's OLD. So it just says like old Arnold Ebiketie. It's I just find that funny. But shout out to Tara Wack. She like probably had to crank all these out like extremely fast. So great job there. It's a pretty good typo. I appreciate that one. But yeah, I mean, I know people were asking like, where's Justin Simmons? I'm not sure Justin Simmons is officially on the roster at this moment. The deal's been agreed to. There's not like any concern there. It's just like he might not have officially been signed before the game day like rosters were set. So there are like deadlines for that sort of stuff to happen. So it's possible that Justin Simmons is going to join the team more like Monday as opposed to like before this game, just for logistical reasons. But yeah, going down the list of guys, Kadero Hodge inactive, good sign for his chances, obviously. We also see Dane Cruikshank at safety. He's also inactive, so that could be a good sign for his chances of making the roster, obviously. I think we got 5 corners or something like that inactive. So that's probably like most of the corners that are making the roster are inactive today. Obviously, the whole first string offensive line. And yeah, like you said, Kentavious Street, Taquan Graham, Zach Harrison, and Eddie Goldman, all inactive. So we're gonna get kickoff here. How far ahead of me are you, Adnan?
They've already kicked off.
Okay. Like
They
how
were
long ago? Yeah.
like just a little bit ago.
Okay. Well, they're like doing the return right now, so maybe you're only like 30 seconds ahead of me instead of like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not super ahead. They have
Yeah.
we have Josh Johnson in a quarterback for the Ravens, so I don't think the Ravens are really, running their main guys out there either today.
Yeah. So,
Rasheem B, the rookie out of Marshall, gets the first snap for them.
oh yeah, good for him. Yeah, no, I definitely interested in seeing the Ravens this year. I think they're going to be a pretty interesting team as always. Definitely one of my favorite AFC teams, just because I feel like they're always fun to watch. Yeah.
League 17 years. My God, did not think it was that long.
No, I feel like Steelers and oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was with Raheem Morris, like during Raheem Morris's initial stint in Tampa Bay as head
Yeah.
coach.
Oh yeah,
Johnson
Josh Johnson is like the goat, like the goated like backup quarterback that's just
Yeah.
been with like basically every team over
Yeah,
his career.
I
Yeah.
know he's one of those longtime journeyman quarterback. I just didn't think he racked up 17 years. Like that's an insanely impressive NFL career.
Yeah. That's pretty intense stuff there.
Yeah, like some guys don't work 17 years in their office jobs. Like this guy made it in the NFL for 17 years. That's one of those like I wonder what his career earnings are.
Yeah, I mean, probably pretty respectable considering I don't think he's ever actually been a starter. But
Yeah, they said the graphic said he started 39 games
yeah,
in his career, but he's never been an outright
yeah,
starter.
he's never gotten paid to that extent. But Ravens looks like they're about at midfield now after a couple of completions, including one to Keith Kirkwood.
Also, just because it's gonna be that kind of game, but
Yeah.
Josh Johnson's earnings are $10.5 million according to Spotrac, which is
Okay.
very respectable.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's generational wealth right there, Adnan. That is impressive stuff. So great work by Josh Johnson. All right. Let's see if the Falcons defense can slow down these Ravens, who we know are one of the deepest and best put together teams in the NFL. So this probably, and they also rarely lose preseason games. I think they've lost like 2 preseason games in the last like 10 years or something.
I saw a very impressive open field tackle by Anthony Johnson.
Yeah.
On the run, and yeah, you'll see this in a second. That was a hell of a play. The Falcons just forced a turnover.
Let's see it.
A sack, strip, fumble forced, and fumble recovered by Rook Ororo.
Oh man, the rookie getting involved. That's what we love to see.
Yeah. Oh my God, he just blew up the left guard. He just swam right by him, and that was
what a play!
Oh my God, hell of a play!
What a play by Rook Ororo. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, he went right by Daniel Fale, I think. Falele.
Oh yeah, Falele. Yeah. I remember him. We were pretty hyped about him for a minute there, coming out of that Senior Bowl. Good stuff there by Rook, and the Falcons, like Adnan said, forced that turnover. Or no, I guess they don't. It's not considered.
Down. It should not have been called a turnover. They reversed, or I think the refs got it right, and they punted it away.
Yep. Okay. Still really impressive sack there by Rook. And punt. Looks like punt was fielded by Trump Brooks. He's just going to fair catch it. So Falcons are going to take over after that. So yeah, we just asking, you shall receive. Falcons, what can they do here? And they do manage to get a nice sack to put the Ravens in a very impossible 4th down situation and force a punt there. So good stuff on the first drive by the Falcons defense, holding strong. That's what we like to see. Especially like to see Rook Ororo get involved because he had pretty quiet opening I would say, in the game against the Dolphins. So good to see him getting immediately involved here against the Ravens.
Yeah, and like you said, we did not see what we wanted to out of Rook last week. So it's important, especially for his confidence, to go out there early and to, have a play like this. Like, have that sort of game changing play, not game changing, but drive ending play right away. And yeah, I'm sure he's now brimming with confidence, and he's going to be able to hang his head because that was a hell of a play. Like he went right by Falale
Mhm.
with a really impressive swim move, and it was honestly impressive by Josh Johnson to hang on to that football too,
Yeah,
because
yeah, that
Luke was
was.
right on top of him.
Oh yeah, that was a big man just going straight in his face. So nice play there by Rook. Falcons defense takes over. Good stuff by this young defensive unit here, and we're gonna get to see probably way more Taylor Heineke than we ever wanted. Not.
That's going to be a very heavy Taylor Heineke game today, and I don't know. I disagree. I have my philosophy. We were talking about it off camera. I have my philosophies on the preseason. I don't agree with sitting the starters, and I sure as hell don't agree with sitting Michael Penix, who
Yeah.
is probably not going to take a single meaningful snap this year. And I don't know why you take away his preseason snaps as well. And I know the argument is, oh well, it's third string offensive linemen, third stringers. I disagree with it being third stringers too. I don't know why the second stringers are sitting.
Yeah. No, I think it's a little too aggressively careful, I guess is maybe what you'd say. Like, I mean, I understand not wanting to risk any of your starters, absolutely, but I mean, I can't really get on board with the second string guys. These are the guys that like need the reps, especially the guys that aren't veterans, like Penix. I'm guessing they just got freaked out by the seasoning injuries last week, and then probably the Vikings losing JJ McCarthy on like just a routine play. I mean, but the thing about it is like you can have that happen in practice too. So it's like, are you going to
Yeah,
bubble wrap these
it
guys
did
for the whole
happen in
season? Like,
practice.
I
Like
mean,
it happened to Rondell Moore in practice. Like, are
yeah,
we gonna cancel practice now too?
yeah, no, I mean it's you do have to temper it, right? It's like how what it does. These things do matter, but you know we'll see if the Falcons could just stay healthy, then it'll all be worth it. But it's like you know, at yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it. I think it's a little quite a bit of
And I mean, I don't like I get it's a balancing act, right? I'm not saying play everyone all 4 quarters. And I mean, I would say don't play anyone next week because next week is like,
yeah,
that last preseason week. But my thing about it is I also don't like the argument, this assumption that people are just guaranteed to get injured. Like if you play them in the preseason, like injuries happen anywhere. I remember the 2018 season where the Falcons went into it really healthy, and that was a season where we were all incredibly excited about the roster
yeah,
coming off that 2017 divisional round appearance against the Eagles. And then remember what happened in week 1. I think it was Deion Jones breaks his foot. Ricardo Allen went down week 3. Keanu Neal went down for the season. Like any of these injuries can happen in week 1 as well. Any of these injuries can happen in practice. They can happen at any point because that's the nature of the sport. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm not about the argument of oh everyone's just going to get hurt if it's the preseason. Everyone may
right.
get hurt.
No, that's exactly right. Yeah. So Falcons with a bad penalty on first down that wipes out what would have been a pretty good completion. Um, and then just some pretty short stuff over the next couple plays. A run that goes for just a couple, and then just a little screen pass on second and super long. So not really taking any chances on this drive. On not.
Not yet, but then on third down, Taylor Heineke does take a shot to Josh Ali. There was coverage. Ali had a really nice chance at it, and it was a really good play by uh, Jalen Armour Davis out of Alabama, the third year man, with a nice pass breakup. And the Falcons, well, the teams have both created 3 and outs now.
Yeah, yeah. So it's you know yeah, looking to see this throw here, but yeah, that actually an on target throw, but yeah, to Chris Blair, it looks like. Um, And yeah, no, that you're right. Good coverage there. Just breaks up the pass in his hands. That one not a Taylor Heineke problem. That was actually an on target pass, on time pass. It seems like. But yeah, I mean, Armour Davis was all over Blair. Certainly not open, I would think. But yeah, Taylor Heineke definitely takes a shot as well at the end of that one. So
and at the end of on the punt, D'Angelo Malone with another tackle. I think he had 2 special teams tackles
yeah,
last week. He
D'Angelo
has another.
Malone, the goated special teams player. I mean, look, if like, yeah, I mean, great special teams tackle there, no problem. It's, if you can't like break a starting lineup, be a goated special teams guy. You'll play in this league for many, many years if you can do that. So, and I mean, I think you just find a way to keep D'Angelo Malone for his special teams value at this point. I mean, obviously it's going to be a lot harder now with, with Matthew Judon coming in. There's not really any wiggle room in the edge room at this point with that addition. But I mean, you could, and it's going to be a much tougher roster to put together this year than in years past. I guess that's the easy way to say it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, anything it takes to make the roster, like you said,
Yeah.
I feel like it was sort of a wasted 3rd-round pick on D'Angelo Malone, whether, that's fair to say at this point or not, but I think it might be going into year 3. But yeah, if you play well on special teams, you're going to have a home somewhere in this league. And, D'Angelo Malone could stick just based on him being pretty good on special teams.
Yeah.
If he keeps this up.
Right. Like a nice open field tackle on that first down run to prevent a really big potential gain by Jaden Price, the UDFA corner. So that was a nice little play. That was like the previous play, I'm sure, for those of you watching live. Mine seems to be like maybe 15 seconds behind. But I wish I could get like a live stream of this. I have to watch the NFL Plus version, which seems to be like significantly further behind than like the YouTube TV version. But I don't get this game on YouTube TV, so it's weird.
I don't know if you got to the 3rd down, but the Falcons stop it for a short gain. It's going to be another 3 and out, but good pressure overall. I think first we got some pressure from Dorless off the edge, and then Damon Harris knocked Josh Johnson's helmet off as he was throwing the ball on a quarterback hit.
Yeah, that looks like very nice play there on 3rd down. That was like full team defense, like good pressure immediately. You force Josh Johnston off his spot. You finish the play, and then you have the corner. Actually, it was a safety. I think it was Lucas Dennis who comes down to end up making the tackle on that one. Force another punt here. So, defensive showdown so far in this one, Adnan.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a defensive showdown.
That's a generous way of describing it.
3 drives in, we have not had a first down yet.
Yep. I think the Ravens did get like 1. Maybe like on their like the first play, like they completed a pass. I think they completed a Keith Kirkwood pass for like a first down, but that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean overall, it's the first quarter. It feels like the 4th quarter of a preseason game at this point, based on the names out there. But hey, I'm rooting for a quick game.
Yeah, we could just really just keep this going and not do what we did last week, which was just like excruciating. It's the longest preseason game I've ever seen. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and it went down to the wire, and yeah, it wasn't. There's no reason for a preseason game to go nearly 4 hours. I'm sorry. Like I know we're all big fans of football and everything, but come on, guys.
Yeah,
and
we're big sickos, but I was starting to get pretty sick towards the end of it. Actually, toward the end of that game was like probably the most entertaining part, other than watching Penix play for like the first quarter. But yeah, all that in between, those like last couple Nathan Rourke drives, which Nathan Rourke, we barely knew ye, already been waived and sent back to Canada. His Canadianness simply could not be contained in Atlanta, it seems. But we'll get to see John Paddock this week, Adnan, who the team did bring back after his, I'm just going to say, like, they kind of just unceremoniously dumped John Paddock for Nathan Rourke and then immediately dump Nathan Rourke and bring back John Paddock. So that's a little bit of a strange situation going on there. I'm not exactly sure what the details are, but,
There
We talked
seems to
about it a
be
lot on Wednesday. If you guys want to go back and listen to that, but
yeah, and I mean, Aaron made a lot of really good points about that. Of Paddock will sort of give these fringe roster guys like more opportunities with more accurate on time passes and more traditional plays versus Rourke, who just goes out there and kind of slings it a little bit.
mm-hmm. Rourke was fun to watch, but I mean, let's not like I would say like he should have had 2 touchdowns that were one was dropped, one was probably could have been fielded a little bit better to come down in bounds, but he only completed 3 other passes out of like 13. So let's not get too crazy with the praise of Rourke. It was still it was more entertaining than anything Taylor Heineke did, absolutely. But we'll see. Maybe Taylor Heineke could get some Heineke magic today against the Ravens.
Well, Heineke gets his longest completion of preseason on first down there, and it's a little play action where Chris Blair leaks out to the left and then is completely unchecked and unattended for, and takes it. I don't know exactly how many yards. I think that went 20 yards, 21 yards. So
Oh
you
yeah,
know,
that's a nice little play.
good,
Yeah.
good for Chris Blair. He's kind of bouncing back a little bit after that early fumble last week.
Yeah, and I really like that. We talked about that on Wednesday too. Just like Penix immediately going back to Blair after the fumble. You love that from your quarterback because that's like a don't worry about it. Get your head back in the game. Like we trust you. Like we're gonna go right back to you for a big play. Like so, I that's just a good like leadership thing. It's a little thing, but you do like to see that. And Chris Blair, like honestly, somebody that with Jakeem Grant, we barely knew Jakeem Grant as well, but Blair at this point could be that 6th receiver. I mean, I don't know that anyone else has really separated themselves, and I'm still kind of expecting the Falcons to just like bring in somebody else, which seems to always happen to Chris Blair on this roster. Like he's like kind of on the fringe of making it, but like never quite gets over the hump. But as the roster stands right now, I think I'd probably have Chris Blair as the 6th receiver. I don't know if you feel similarly, but
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be. Blair's been fine in the
yeah,
preseason.
yeah.
I think he's one of the biggest beneficiaries, as bad as it sounds, of that Rondale Moore injury, because you knew that Ray McLeod was probably going to be the wide receiver 3 on this team based on how things were going. Casey Washington looks like he was going to make this roster either way, but like the big winners of that are these really fringe wide receiver guys who now have that opening, unless the team signs a wide receiver, which I don't think they will at this point. But yeah,
Probably wait
Josh
for
Allen,
cuts. Yeah.
Blair, Dylan
Yeah.
Drummond, like all those guys fighting for that last spot because now suddenly the door is swinging open.
Yeah. No, we'll see. We'll see like what happens. I'm still of the mind that like they're probably going to just see who shakes loose at final cuts. See if they have someone they like, because it seems like they're sort of going for that athletic return capable sort of guy, with Jakeem Grant, Rondale Moore, that sort of archetype. There's just not really anyone out there that's like at all interesting. I think Jakeem Grant was somewhat interesting because it's like, well, take a chance. Maybe he's healthy. He hasn't played in a couple years, but the last 2 years he played, he was all pro. He's second team all pro or whatever, was a returner. So why not? But yeah, unfortunately, it seems like Jakeem Grant's career is just going to be derailed completely by injuries over the last 3 years. But wow, nice 4th down call there by the Falcons.
Yeah, a very bold call because that was a surrender index type play because
Yeah,
4th and 2 on the other team's field. Yeah, you go for it, and great run by Carlos Washington, who looks good so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Ryan Newsel is back, and I think you can tell this run blocking. It hasn't been like amazing, but it's definitely a step up from last week. Like I think they're much more on task and doing a better job to start out this preseason game in terms of the run game. And we spoke of Dylan Drummond just a few moments ago. Looks like he gets his first catch of the game there, so good for him. As the Falcons have some signs of life here, perhaps. And Dakota Mobs, Casey Washington is number 82. I'll put it in the chat in case people want to follow along. I do have an updated roster that I use, and I know probably Adnan and everybody else uses too. So you guys can click on that. It's got everybody sorted by position and number. It really helps with the games and the practices, especially because like when you like, okay, I know it's a wide receiver and I know the number, but I don't know the name. I hate like the lists that are sorted by like last name, because it's like if I knew their name, I wouldn't be looking at the roster. Like
Uh,
sorted by the number. I can see the number. I can't read the little tiny nameplate. So
yeah,
you get a
the number is
yeah,
like that's the only way to go about this because
yeah,
it's like sorted by like complete number, like what uh from descending to ascending, like it is. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. If you're just giving me random last names, it's gonna take me like a bit to find that number. And I'm sorry, like we don't know exactly every single name of these 92. Like
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Exactly. It's like if I knew their name, I wouldn't be looking at the roster. Like, so, like don't give me the name sorted roster. That's not going to help me. Like, so. But yep. So we got false. Looks like maybe a false start on first down. So Falcons working a little bit behind schedule on this one. We'll see if they can dig themselves out of this one. But yeah, ultimately, looks like we're gonna see. We've seen Jace McClellan, first of his name, getting a couple of runs here for the first time in this game.
yep. And it was I'm waiting for a play for you to like see it, but the
Yeah,
next play was Taylor Heineke 2 yard gain. He tried to juke out the linebacker, but Trenton Simpson wasn't really having any of it. And we're going to get a Younghoe Koo field goal attempt. And Younghoe Koo had a good week last week, and this will be from 50 plus.
yeah, yeah.
And I am waiting for you to see the result of that before I talk about it. But spoiler alert: Younghoe Koo nails it, 54 yards, very impressive.
Yes.
He looks like he's in form to start things off going into the season.
Yeah, good stuff there by Younghoe Koo, who is looking like he's absolutely on form this year. Love to see that. No questions asked. Easy stuff. Not to be outstaged not to be upstaged in this game by Justin Tucker on the other side. He knows he's got to come to play. So Falcons take their first lead of the game of the with a 3-0 lead on the back of that Younghoe Koo 54-yard field goal. So
That's what the actual like duel is today. It's Justin Tucker versus Younghoe Koo, two of the
yeah,
better kickers in the NFL. And I mean, I don't think it's really a hot take to say that Justin Tucker is the best kicker in the NFL. And by the time all is said and done, he's on a trajectory to be the best kicker in NFL history at this point.
yeah. No, I mean Justin Tucker obviously, if not the GOAT, one of the GOATs, probably up there with some of the greats. And I'm excited to see how the rest of his career plays out too. You know, if I do really like the Ravens. I just like Lamar Jackson a lot, so that's kind of my Ravens fandom right there. I also think the purple is pretty sweet. I mean, if we're being honest, like Ravens have sick uniforms.
Tucker's another guy where this is going to be his 12th year in the NFL. Like it it almost doesn't feel like it because I mean he's been around forever, but I mean since 2012, that's a while. Like he was out there with when Joe Flacco was comfortably the quarterback of this team. And
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at his credentials right now. He's made the last 5 Pro Bowls. And in 2018, it looks like he didn't make the Pro Bowl, but he was the first team All Pro. I don't know how that works, or I don't know how that happens.
I think
Excuse
we
me.
know how that works, Adnan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know how it works, but I don't know how that happens. Um,
yeah, yeah,
but yeah, 5-time first team All Pro, otherwise 3-time second team All Pro. Like he has had a very, very prolific career.
yeah. Absolutely, and you know, definitely one of those guys that I think will continue to appreciate their greatness. You know, as time goes on, one of those guys that I think that the career will only look better in hindsight. Uh, so we got our second new kickoff of this game coming. So we'll see. We haven't really seen too much action so far with the Falcons on these kickoffs for good or ill. But they definitely are more interesting than the old kickoff, which was
Yeah.
just like a touchback like 90+% of the time, which I mean,
And this one, yeah, I applaud the NFL for this. I like this change. I like it. Like it reduces injuries because they're not full fledged, like running down the field, and it also encourages action because I think the touchback now it goes to the 30 or
yeah,
something instead of the 25 like previously, and 10 years ago it was to the 20. So there was no reason to ever not like kick for a touchback.
yeah,
But yeah, I like it. I like this rule change. I think it will be a bit of a shock. Some people won't like it because it sometimes it's just hard to accept change. But I think this will be a good thing long term.
yeah.
And
I think so too.
Donovan Mooten got the tackle on this special teams kickoff.
Yeah, nice coverage there by the Falcons. Absolutely, no issues covering up that one. So Ravens once again, gonna get going here on offense. We'll see if the Falcons' second string defense can continue holding these guys down. Um, yeah, but definitely nice start to this game by the Falcons defense, shutting the Ravens down on a couple drives. Uh, do see D'Angelo Malone out there working as an edge rusher, so good for him. Getting some reps early in this game. But I guess it's hard to like evaluate because so many guys are inactive, like what that stuff looks like. But D'Angelo Malone is playing across from Arnold Ebiketie, so I think is that Arnold Ebiketie? I thought he was listed as inactive, but it
I think
is.
it's
Yeah.
not listed as I thought
Oh
I could
wait,
have sworn was in that.
Is somebody else? Oh, no, never mind. I was thinking of his old number. I was thinking of his
Yeah,
old number. He's
yeah,
17
it's
now. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's Bradley and I. Excuse me.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a
Yeah.
really bad look
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
Ebiketie got
No, I'm getting confused with last year. Last year his number was 47.
Uh,
That was his
I do
original
wanna
number. So.
I do wanna highlight a play that I really liked that I saw with, Mike Abernathy and Tyrone Brooks combining to get a tackle for a loss and run support. It didn't end up mattering because the Ravens converted on the 3rd down, but Mike Abernathy, I think, is a guy that might make this roster. I know Dane Cruikshank is inactive, but I mean, I like what I've seen from Abernathy 2 straight training camps at this point.
Me too. Yeah, I he was the guy that I've typically had over Crookshank. It may be that like Abernathy has to survive waivers because the Falcons are probably going to have to carry DeMarco Helms into the like after final cuts essentially to put him on that short-term IR. But then I mean I would expect him to be brought back at that point assuming he does clear waivers, but
Yeah, I think Abernathy at the very least is gonna be on the practice squad again.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
But yeah, like right now, I think that's a guy who was in serious contention to really make this 53 until the Justin Simmons trade happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, now you have Simmons, and behind him will be DeMarco Helms, or excuse me, Richie Grant at strong safety, and then DeMarco Helms, on the roster, like you said. And then behind Jesse Bates is, I guess, now Crookshank because they're not playing him.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. All
But
right,
yeah,
it's
I
the end
mean,
of the first quarter, Adnan. We're on track for under 4 hours. Not to interrupt
oh,
you,
thank God,
but
thank God.
yeah, please
That's
continue.
the real victory here.
Yeah, the big one. Yeah,
30 minutes in, so trying to calculate another 30 for the end of the second quarter, plus another 15 for halftime. Yeah, I'm in favor of the running clock in the fourth quarter. Like,
yeah. I think the preseason should just have running clocks, but yeah,
yeah, I mean, last week we yeah, last week it was already like too late to do anything, but today game ends at 3. We still have our
yeah.
Saturday ahead of
That's
us. Like,
right. Yeah, we've got lots of opportunity. The
yeah,
whole day's ahead of us. Yeah.
let's get out of here, Falcons. Like, you guys don't want to be here. Let,
get
let's speed
get to
this
the
along.
get to the cold tanks. Get in there, get your sports massages going, get home, have a nice leisurely dinner with your family. We all want the same thing here. So
Yeah. I'm trying to hit the gym a little bit after
yep,
this.
yep, good stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got I got a D&D game at 6, so Falcons we need to be done by that. So
So if they're still playing at like 4:30, I'm just
I'm
disconnected.
disconnecting at 6, one way or the other. So
Yeah,
oh man.
honestly, like by the time the fourth quarter hits, we may just start talking about our days at that point because
How was your day?
it'll be true sicko hours.
Well, at some point, we're definitely just going to start talking about Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons again because I don't think we can contain our excitement about that for 4 quarters of preseason. Probably T minus 15 minutes till we start talking about those guys. But yeah, we got through the first quarter pretty much on topic. That was great work by us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we're giving some nice takes about some of these like low end guys that we've like watched in camp that we like sort of know about. I am impressed by our collective Falcons IQ right now.
Yeah, no,
Because there's some deep cut ass players on this roster.
I mean, look, if anyone can do it, we can. And I've got my trusty roster at hand. So even if I know nothing about the player, I can give you the name and number like that. We're on target. Like we can do that at the very least. And yeah, I originally made these rosters for training camp. Like the first one I covered as media, maybe I can't even remember now. It's been a long time, maybe like 2018 or 2019. But yeah, it was like, wow, these like rosters they hand out just are not cutting it. Like I have to like take so long to figure out who this player is. I need this like sorted in this way. And shout out to Gina and to you and others that were like, yeah, no, can you like just keep making that? I was like, yeah, I could keep making that. It's at least half for me. I make them for the Senior Bowl now too. At the Senior Bowl, to their credit, there's like way more players you have to keep track of at the Senior Bowl. So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm still using one of the rosters they gave us at camp, the
oh
latest
no,
one,
it is
just
yeah,
because
we're
it's at the very least, I like that they gave us the numbers sorted.
good. I'm glad they're doing that now. Yeah.
Yeah, like on one side it's the sorted numbers, on the other side it's the positions, which I don't really pay attention to the position side.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice little resource.
Good for them. I'm glad that it's easier to keep track of because it's also nice because that's typically where you'll get the first sign of the number updates. Looks like the Falcons don't quite stop the first
Yeah,
down there. Very close, but
hell of a
yeah.
throw near the sideline. A great catch by Keith Kirkwood, who has burned the Falcons for another big play.
Yeah, good stuff there by him. Yeah, it looked like Anthony Johnson had a near pick on that throw to Miller a couple plays ago. He was right there, but Miller does come away with it, and now the Ravens are rolling on this drive. So
Yeah, it's good tackle by JD Bertrand to limit a run to get a run stop after just a couple of yards. He's playing out there, but he's a player whom I don't think is going to be at risk of the roster bubble. I think he's firmly the fourth inside linebacker on this roster right now.
yeah,
It really,
no, I agree.
and I mean he's someone that very very entertaining. Where Kirk Cousins, who just sort of can't keep a secret, was telling us after camp practice one day that they sort of make all the rookies give them presentations as their like rookie initiation of like anything they want to like talk about, anything they want to like uh oh snap, that this is I am stopping right now because this is a very very big play that's happening right now.
Okay, well, yeah, I get to like just like anticipate now. This is I know like in the regular season it's like, oh, I don't want it spoiled, but for the preseason I'd rather just anticipate it, and not because that's all I got is just hoping for good stuff here. But yeah, excited to see the outcome of this play. Appreciate the warning so I can watch super duper closely and not just be like tweeting something and miss it entirely. We wear a lot of hats here on this show, folks.
Yeah, and yeah, it looks like there were multiple flags on the play. I think they were all against the Ravens, who had multiple men in motion, and yeah, the center just snaps it above an unsuspecting Josh Johnson's head,
Oh
and it
no,
was
that's an ugly
a
play.
racing ball. It was a
Yeah,
racing ball. It was actually Brandon Dorless who goes and recovers it. So yeah, how
there we
about that?
go. Well, just we slander the man and he immediately shows up. So
I mean,
good
we weren't
stuff.
slandering him.
Well, we didn't really slander him. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's to
if
be
nothing,
fair. Yeah,
if anything, we were saying he needs to be on the roster.
yeah. No, I like your interpretation better. Yeah, I think we were sort of like he needs to be on here. I'm getting nervous that he might not be. he needs basically saying, he needs a good preseason, and I think at the end of the day, this is definitely a better day for him. And yeah, I mean, ultimately, I agree. Like, they need to find a way to keep him on the roster. It looks like we do have a Ravens player a little bit shaken up, but seems like he might be okay here. I think it's the running back. Yeah, the running back. See, he did. I'm not gonna say it, but yeah, he went for that. He went to try to recover that bad snap, Adnan. Didn't really see a lot of that last week with the Falcons. You guys can take away from that whatever you want, but oh man. All right, so looks like we're gonna get another commercial break because technically that is a change of possession as the Falcons take over
Yep.
from the Ravens there. So
Hey, I mean, we can't not have the sponsors taking those commercial breaks.
that's right.
Big win for the sponsors. Big win for the guys who are paying for the commercials right now.
Yep. So Falcons gonna get the ball. Looks like near midfield. So we'll see what Atlanta can do with some more offensive possessions here in the first half of this game. Defense certainly having a better start to this one than last week. I think the defense definitely settled down as the game went on against the Dolphins, but a little bit shaky to start that game. So they definitely look a bit more put together so far in this one. Do you remember the days, I don't know, when the Falcons like second string defense would just go out there and just get absolutely eviscerated, just like every
Oh,
preseason game?
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. It happens almost every single year
Yeah.
too.
I feel like the last 2 years is like the only 2 years that like the second string defense has not just absolutely gotten just completely disgusted. So good for them. Does it really matter? Maybe not, but it is nice that we don't have to just watch the Falcons second string defense just get obliterated every single game. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a testament to the depth that they've made, and yeah, you're gonna like this next play as well because they came back from commercial in the middle of the play, like the ball was in the air when they
we
came back.
gotta get these sponsor deals done. So we can't can't let our sponsors do. Oh yeah, poor Harbaugh. He's just like, oh no. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great play action, and a laser beam of a throw to Chris Blair, who has another really big play, and a great job by Heineke sticking in that pocket. Yeah, that was 32 yards.
Yeah, nice play. Absolutely there. You love to see it. Again, a little bit more play action, it seems, this week for Taylor Heineke. We know he's good at that. Yeah, and Chris Blair getting some nice separation. And yeah, just making his case once again that maybe the Falcons don't need to go hit that wide receiver waiver wire. Maybe Chris Blair is the guy that should be the sixth receiver. Definitely has like good size. That's always been kind of his thing. He's good size, pretty good athlete. Just never really got an NFL chance. I think he was with the Falcons last training camp as well. Stuck on the practice squad through the season. Didn't really get any opportunities in the regular season, but definitely someone that could be in line for a bigger role here, as we see on this play. Casey Washington, we see like Taylor Heineke just not quite get that one on target for Washington, who would have had to try to get it with a one-handed catch, but
Yeah, Blair so far, I want to stick on the topic of him. Out of Heineke's 62 yards, Blair has 53 of them on a couple of catches. It's been really good. It's been a really he's been really impressive since that initial fumble. Like
yeah,
overall, if
yeah,
you take away that fumble, I would say he has been the winner of preseason so far among the offense.
yeah. No, and given that that was a nice patient run there by Jaceris McClellan, going and getting waiting for that hole to develop, get a few extra yards there instead of just charging into the back of his offensive line. Like to see that smart play turn like probably a 0 yard gain into like a 3 yard gain. You'll always love to see that. At least get a couple out of it.
And
Don't like the 2nd and 10 runs. Okay, just to be clear, but this is my wheel. I'm never going to be okay with it. If you're running clock at the end of a game, then sure, run on 2nd and 10. Yeah, as much as you want. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
on third down, it was a throw intended for John Fitzpatrick. Does not hang on, But it was really good pressure by Trenton Simpson, who's had a couple of really nice plays so far. A couple of really nice third down stops by Trenton Simpson. It will lead to a Younghoe Koo 40-yard field goal attempt, and yeah, it goes wide left. So
Yeah,
it's
John
just
Fitzpatrick. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, John Fitzpatrick, not any. Oh, and a wide left field goal. Great, wonderful.
wide
Um,
left.
yeah, Fitzpatrick didn't get any separation. Did have a chance at that ball, but yeah, that's kind of Fitzpatrick's thing. Is he's just not a separator. It's never been his thing in college either. Had good hands in college, but um, definitely, uh, it disappointing to not get hands on that one, but in position, ball on target, just didn't quite get it done. And then, of course, the missed field goal by Younghoe Koo.
Younghoe field goal, man.
Younghoe,
That's
that
maybe
Younghoe field
name
goal
right there.
Koo. Yeah, there's Younghoe not field goal on this particular play, but in general, he's been pretty clutch with that. We got Mad Tom K with the $5 super chat. Thanks, Mad. MTK. Where do you guys? I think we answered this, but yeah, this is good. We can talk about it again. Where do you guys fall on the start rest debate for the starters and top backups in the preseason? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead,
I was
Adnan.
gonna say, I'm against it. Like the last preseason game, sure. I think you need a dress rehearsal game, like either that being the last preseason game or the second preseason game. I think now it's sort of shifted to the second game as what the equivalent of what the third preseason game was back in the day. Which remember before third preseason game was a dress rehearsal, fourth one was complete rest, and maybe they will go down that route. Maybe Raheem Morris has the philosophy of, doing week 3 of the preseason as like the dress rehearsal, but I doubt it based on what we've seen so far. But yeah, I I like seeing the starters get some reps in the preseason. Get into that flow, get into that rhythm because yeah, you can practice all you want. You can have joint practices. I don't think that anything will really sort of substitute a real game action. I think the players will be the first ones to tell you that. Um, and yeah, I mean, teams, you see it with the Chiefs, right? Every single year, Pat Mahomes plays a lot in the preseason. They play their starters in the preseason. They're the most successful football team in the NFL, and they always hit the ground running in September. Whereas I think we've seen with the Falcons, whenever they've refused to play their starters in the preseason, they start out really slow. We saw it with the Eagles week 1 a few years ago. We saw even last year that sure they beat the Panthers, but they only beat the Panthers because of 2 really great individual plays by Jesse Bates. Like that game was tied very late.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get the injury like discussion, but I think injuries. I think we already talked about it. Injuries can happen at literally any point in the season. Like in that case, like you just ask Rondale Moore, right? He got injured just making a cut in a regular like rep against the Dolphins. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm completely against resting everyone all preseason, even though I'm not saying play them every single snap either.
No, I totally get that. And, um, I think I mostly agree. I think I'm a little bit more cautious than Adnan probably is, but I think ultimately I do want to see people for a half probably. Like, whether you want to spread that over a couple games or whatever, it's fine. But I think you should probably get your starters about a half, just to get some live hits out there, get ready. I do think the second string should probably play. I mean, not every second stringer needs to play a lot, especially your veteran guys, but like, rookies and guys like they need reps. As we get a nice play there by Milo Eifler, the tackle for loss in the backfield, linebacker. But yeah, I'm maybe a little bit more cautious than Adnan, but ultimately I do think they should play at least some. I think the one drive method of Arthur Smith last year was obviously a big mistake, but there's some context to it too. Like Matt Ryan probably didn't need to play in the preseason more than a drive, right? Because he was here year and year and year and year, and like veteran quarterbacks probably don't need to play as much, but like young quarterbacks absolutely need to play, especially guys that don't have a ton of
But
experience.
also
So
the Falcons have 2 new coordinators and a new coach. Like, they're this is a brand new offense. It's a brand new defense. Like, I think that especially, should be cause for playing, more because I mean, the guys are sure, I get it. It's gonna be more of a vanilla scheme. Like, of course, Zach Robinson isn't gonna, like, show everything, but still, it's you wanna get I don't know. I just don't like punting this opportunity to get that live game action and those live game reps.
yeah, I agree.
But
I agree.
yeah, we're in another commercial, by the way.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, oh, this third down's not getting off, is it? Nope. Okay.
No chance.
Yep. Well, we're almost halfway through the second quarter, Adnan, so we're definitely on a faster track than last week. So there is at least that. There is at least that one glimmer of hope. So, all
Yep.
right. Yeah.
I mean, we're almost gonna get to the point where we're discussing these commercials, but we're not gonna do that because they're not paying us to talk about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, um, yeah, I mean, at some point we're gonna have to get. At some point, we're going to have to get to some other topics other than this preseason game. It's just the way of things, but um, yeah, I do think that to kind of close up the question by MTK, like I think there is like context to it. I think it matters, like the situation and the player and all that, but I think young guys should get some opportunities, like, and should play. And I think veterans should probably, I think it makes sense for veterans to play less. I think that makes sense to me. But ultimately, I think that, you have to find a balance that makes sense for you. And, does the preseason really like matter for teaching guys stuff, or does it really help you play better? I know Joe in the chat mentioned that, like, the Chiefs have started sluggishly despite them playing their starters like a ton. Like, it doesn't necessarily like work one to one
They
like every
started
time.
6-1 last year.
Well, they did, but the offense in those games was not tremendous. The Chiefs definitely leaned on their defense a lot early in the season last year.
They
But
played their defensive guys in the preseason too.
they did.
It wasn't
So
just, "Oh, it's Mahomes and then the third string defense."
yeah, I think the Chiefs of any team probably have the least reason to play stars in the preseason, and they continue to do it, and they're one of the NFL's best teams. Now, does the preseason play have anything to do with that? I don't know, but yeah, Josh Johnson 8 of 8 so far. Nice little start for him so far in this game.
Yeah, the Falcons get a stop on third down, but you will see the Ravens go for it. As you know, I mean, John Harbaugh is a guy that will go for it on those fourth and shorts. I
He
mean,
does like
obviously
to.
it helps Lamar Jackson, but yeah, he's gonna another not so cowardly play from midfield.
Yeah, yep, not cowardly. And the Falcons do cover it up well. I think they may have gotten enough, but um, yeah, it was good defense, certainly. Falcons almost had it stopped up. I don't know if they're going to measure it or if they just give it to him or what, but yeah, I guess they gave it
Nick,
to him.
no, I'm sorry. I'm trying
Oh,
not to spoil the plays. I just don't know how far behind you
no,
guys
no,
are.
it's okay. Yeah, okay. So now it's fourth down. So yeah, they do actually stop him for a loss. Yeah, and then the Ravens do complete the next pass, and so it's all for naught. But yeah, that run stuff on third and short was actually very good. Excellent play.
Yeah,
They actually
I'll
tackled for a
try to
loss.
wait
So
a little bit longer before discussing any of the plays, but I don't know exactly how far behind everyone
yeah,
is.
you don't have to. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to wait too long because I assume most people are probably watching from the Atlanta market, but there's a few that aren't. So all right, we're actually getting some clock running here. Stuff is
Running
staying
clock
in
help
bounds. Yeah.
running clock is definitely a good thing, and I mean we could see our first Justin Tucker appearance very soon because the Ravens are getting around his territory.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
I don't know if you watched the second down play yet or not, but well,
Yeah, I
I'll
haven't.
give it a
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give it a
I think
second.
it's coming imminently, but yeah.
Very very imminently. Yeah, it'll be here.
it's it's coming, They're just making me wait here. Yeah, okay. They're lining up. Yeah, we can't talk about that though. No
And no,
details,
no
but
line,
yeah,
no lineups, but it was a
yeah,
good
nice
play. A
tackle
good
for
play
loss there.
by
Yeah,
J.T. Bertrand. He's had a solid game so far.
yeah,
Great job run support right there. Just shoots up the middle, gets a stop.
yeah. No, nice play. Bertrand gets the first hand on. Then it looks like I think it was that Malone that came in and helped clean it up, finish it off. Maybe it was Eifler. Didn't really see, but yeah, good play there. So Falcons forcing the Ravens into another third and long situation. A lot of those in this game.
It is a third and long, and yeah, you're gonna see.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've seen it now. So yeah, nope.
Yeah,
It's a completion to Tyler Wallace, get the Ravens inside the 10.
it's
So
gonna be a
no dice.
secondary play that's has a lot to be desired. He gets it in front of Lucas Dennis, who gets there late, and yeah, he just like runs right by Lucas Dennis after
Yeah,
catch.
just Dennis takes a terrible angle on that one, and just yeah, he let up. It looked like he stopped. I'm not really sure why he stopped, but yeah, uh, interesting choice there by Lucas Dennis to not, like obviously you can't just go full out to destroy him, but you start going with the shoulder a little bit more, that sort of thing. Like he had a moment to sort of, but I think Dennis, if he just kept going on, he actually took the right angle. He just hesitated. It's a little odd. Usually you see guys like go with reckless abandon to just like destroy the guy there. But you know, um, yeah, I'm glad he didn't decleat Tylan Wallace in the preseason. I don't think that's necessary. So Falcons run defense absolutely stifling in this goal to go series here. 2 tackles for loss on back-to-back plays. So nice stuff from the run defense so far.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be some controversy on the next play for sure about whether he got in or not. I think, yeah, this should be a touchdown.
Guess we'll
This should,
see.
I'm looking at the replay. Yeah, this should be a touchdown.
Yeah, he hit the pylon. He's in
It's
for sure.
the thing is, I don't blame the refs there because normally the assumption is that the knee is going to hit, but that was a hell of a play, hell of an extension by Owen Wright, the running back, who just
Yeah,
like keeps his knee from like hitting the ground and just
no,
like
good stuff by him
goes
for sure.
man extension.
Yeah, and Eifler couldn't quite get out there to make the tackle earlier. I have to see the lineup to see exactly how far he had to run to cover the running back, but uh, nope, it was a good tackle attempt, but just a hair. And yeah, I believe that he will be in for the touchdown as well. So all right. And it is officially ruled a touchdown. So the Ravens are going to kick an extra point here to take their first lead of the game, mostly due to that 31-yard completion on third down to Tylan Wallace, where Lucas Dennis kind of inexplicably just didn't deliver the hit on Tylan Wallace.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. I feel like as a safety there, sure, I get it. This is the preseason. You don't want to hurt anyone, but I think you sort of have to err on the side of not caution there. Like you have to err on the side of like making the play if you're Lucas Dennis, especially as someone trying to make a roster.
Yeah, you
And
gotta
yeah, you
try to you gotta
say
try to jostle that ball loose at least. I mean, you don't have to like go for the kill shot, but at least like
yeah,
make contact. I
yeah,
mean,
like I'm not saying like decleat him, but definitely like go full speed ahead to get to the spot before the wide receiver does. And I
yep,
don't think he did that. And I
yeah,
mean, yeah, this is the NFL. It's a split second, like hesitation. That's all it was, and results in a 32-yard play and a subsequent touchdown by the Ravens.
yep. So that's the first leaks we've seen in this Falcons defense so far. They've been pretty stout up to this point.
Yeah, it's it was a very impressive touchdown. I do want to give Owen Wright his flowers once again because
Yeah, nice stuff.
yeah, like how often does it happen where a running back like keeps his knee off the ground in that situation and
No, yeah, that's right.
does a great job extending, not hitting his knee, and also like another thing that I know this has been a rule change for years and years, but another thing I do want to compliment the NFL on is making all scoring plays just automatically reviewed
Yep.
because I feel like that was a long time coming because it's kind of ridiculous a long time ago where the referee gets it wrong and then you have to waste a challenge or maybe you don't have a challenge. S Making all turnovers and scoring plays reviewable, automatically reviewed, that's it seems like such a no-brainer thing where I'm like, "How wasn't this a thing decades ago?"
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, the Falcons are now down 7-3, so, the first time, like you said, the defense has really had some leaks. It wasn't even on the ground game. The run
No,
defense
they were stifling on the ground on this one for sure. Yeah, which is nice to see. I mean, the run defense playing well. That is a good takeaway. Um,
it is, but yeah, the passing Josh Johnson is also playing very well at this point.
yeah,
It's like, this game would be not even close if not for, you know, that, Brandon Dorlus fumble recovery where it was just a straight, like, unforced error from the Ravens.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's Falcons offense hasn't done a whole lot, especially stringing together drives. I mean, they've had a couple of big plays, but they have had a really hard time keeping drives together. For settling for 2 field goals, one of which they missed. So, not the best offensive start certainly for Atlanta. This will be the first Falcons kickoff opportunity in this one, so that'll be interesting.
And we got a shout out, in the chat, to the game NFL head coach '09. We're really seeing it all today.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, I've never played the head coach games. I've seen them in the discount box at, like, GameStop for, like, $2 before,
I
but
think they're supposed to be good. You just like call the plays and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I'm assuming so.
yeah. Basically,
I can see why they ended up getting discontinued because, I mean, when you're competing against Madden and, like, actually controlling the players, but I can definitely see that being an appealing game for, like, a
more of a
niche demographic.
yeah, more of like a
So,
management sim instead of like a arcade style like game where
yeah,
you're
it's
like
like a
actually
niche
controlling.
demographic of people who are
Yeah,
really, like, into, like, the strategy
yeah,
aspect
yeah.
of the game.
Yeah, no, if people are looking for a modern version of that, they don't have one for the NFL. Nice run there by Carlos Washington. Almost picking up the first down. It's called Football Coach College Dynasty, I think, on Steam. I think they have it for like phones as well. That is a great management football game. It is college. But yeah, I've been super impressed with it. I played it a bunch this offseason. Like, if you love like franchise mode and you just wish you could just do franchise mode basically and just call plays, that's what the game is. It's super detailed, like super hardcore management, recruiting, like they have like NIL simulation where you like divvy up your NIL money between players and stuff like that. So it's fun. I mean, it takes like probably like 20 hours to play through a season just with all like you don't control the players. It takes like 20 hours just to do all the management stuff. But yeah, I'm a sicko for that stuff, so I enjoy that. But
Yeah, Carlos Washington had about a 6-yard run. He looked really upset with himself for not taking it more. But yeah, there was a hole open up for him, so good job by the offensive line. But yeah, I there is an equivalent. So it's called Football Manager. It's a soccer equivalent.
yeah, yeah, I've heard of that.
Um, it's very famous, very very big in Europe, and very big among like the sickos for soccer, like it all over the world. But yeah, that is like the official like game, like not official, but like that is the game for like for management. And I mean, I have a couple of friends who play. I've never given it a try, but it's super, super detailed. Like, it
Yeah,
is
it's
like,
good
it
stuff.
is insanely detailed to the point where, like, they have all these leagues, even the, like, most obscure ones, these, like, very you would think obscure, like, players that you just, like, build up into, you know, your own, like, soccer manager career.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is called Football Coach College Dynasty. I'll type it in the chat here just because I want to shout out. I believe it's like an independent developer. It's like a one guy developed it. And it's very simple. Like I said, you can play it on. I think they have it on iPhone as well, and it's like a very simple UI. But it's super detailed. So I would definitely want to give him a shout out because it's a good game for sure. Um, and yeah,
Yeah,
shout out to one guy doing all that work. That simulation is incredibly detailed. So uh, doing a tough job there. It's still
yeah,
updating it too. So yeah,
also, shout out to Chris Player who catches
yeah.
another pass first down.
Shout out,
He
big
is
time.
yeah, he's the big winner today for me so far. Like, he is absolutely cooking. Like, I think he's playing so well to the point where I think they may just bench him in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked.
He's definitely Heineke's favorite target. Heineke has well, he has three receptions on 5 Heineke completions. He has 4 targets on 8 Heineke completion attempts. The only other receiver to catch a pass has been Dylan Drummond, who has 9 yards on 2 catches. So it's definitely been Chris Blair's day so far.
Yeah, good stuff by Chris Blair. And again, like he has a real opportunity this year with these injuries to have a chance to make this roster when in years past, it's been kind of an uphill battle for him. So I think this year, like he's got an opportunity to do so. And like he needs to convince the team that he's the guy, that they don't need to go get another receiver on the waiver wire or what have you. And yeah, but he's doing kind of all he can this week. He's doing his part. No question in my mind that he's working hard to solidify that roster spot. So definitely pulling for him. He's been
Yeah,
working to try to get on this roster for years. So
2 of the 3 catches for Blair have been, like, right at the line of scrimmage where he just, like, takes it 11 yards, and then the other one was the long 30-plus yarder on Heineke's. I mean, I'll give it to Heineke. That pass was a laser.
yeah, that was a good pass for sure. Yeah, and Web Fiji says Carlos Washington Jr. a good stash for fantasy. I wouldn't, not unless you're like a super ridiculously deep league, because
Well,
there's not going to be any snaps. Yeah,
super duper flex 3 quarterback. You start 3 quarterbacks in the league, like
53-man
maybe.
roster type league, sure. Yeah, yeah. No, otherwise I don't think so. No. Now I mean, obviously keep your eye on the waiver wire. Like if there are injuries, like he'll probably be the third. I mean, he could be the third running back. We'll see how, Jace McClellan Targaryen fares in this game as well. But um, I hope Jace doesn't mind that we reference House of the Dragon when talking about him. I feel like it increases his like gravitas in a good way. But Jace, if Jace or Jace's family is watching and you guys have a problem with that, let us know. But I think it's fun.
Yeah, we'll stop. Like
We will stop. Yeah, it's not meant in an obnoxious way, certainly. So. Yeah, not much room on that first down run for the Falcons, but it was getting a bit better. It's definitely looked a lot better on the ground with Ryan Newsel back in there, which was sort of my thought. So I'm glad to see that kind of is the case. See if they can. Again, it's been maintaining drives. That's been the issue for this Falcons offense so far. So we'll see if they can keep this one going as we get inside the 2-minute warning here in preseason week 2.
I will give it to them. The offensive line has played a bit better this week than they have last week.
Yeah, I think again, like losing your center that you practice with like the entire training camp a couple of days before the game, that's just brutal. And yeah, I mean, I think again, like Newsel, I remember Newsflash, like that. I remember you might have been there. Like it was like the first training camp that he got changed to center, and I was like, I asked Arthur Smith a question about Newsel moving to center, and he was like, Oh, you noticed that, did you? Like he was like super excited to talk about Ryan Newsel. So I was like, okay, I'm glad that we were able to like give him a chance to talk about Ryan Newsel. And Newsel, to his credit, coming from UDFA to like
Yeah.
fixture on the. I mean, I think he's absolutely the number 2 center. I mean, he outlived Matt Hennessy. I mean, like Matt Hennessy got cut in favor of Newsel. So,
I mean, Matt Hennessy's a free agent right now, I think, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he just got cut by Philly. Who would have thought? Like
yeah.
who
I mean,
has
he looked
that
good
on their
when he
bingo
played a
card?
couple times. So I'm surprised by that. But, yeah. So,
The
uh,
only other guy that Arthur Smith was like even more excited to talk about was Felipe Franks. Like
yeah,
I've
yeah.
never seen that man more happy than when I asked him about Felipe Franks one time. Like he was grinning ear to ear. I'm like, God damn, like this man. At that point, I'm like, yeah, Felipe Franks is making the 53. Like
There's no
there is
way.
no
Yeah, there's no way he's not. Yeah. He can't help himself. And that was a nice catch by John Fitzpatrick as well. Getting another opportunity, making a wide open catch. The Ravens seem to have little concern about John Fitzpatrick. They just gotta leave him there, for everyone for him to just get basically free first down. But hey, we take those, and yeah, Fitz gets that first down. So the Falcons are continuing this drive. Looks like around the 25-ish of the Ravens. So we'll see if we can get some red zone action on this one, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean yeah, I'm in that like position where I want to talk about the play, but I can't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
probably coming soon. Yeah, it's probably coming soon. So
it is coming soon. But yeah, it's well, let's say that I'm not gonna say anything.
let's say nothing.
I'm not gonna say it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's
Yeah,
just a little bit bad. Yeah.
the play is Heineke takes a shot deep. Casey Washington, it would have been a very difficult catch for him to make. Ooh, now the fourth down is going to be a bit bad.
Yeah, that was not on target. That was too far for Washington for sure, especially in triple coverage. That's a Taylor Heineke special right there. But yeah, how many defenders are there? That's double coverage technically. Yeah, but it wasn't a dangerous throw.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it's like one of those Penix misses from last week where it's like, okay, if you're gonna miss it to where nobody has a chance to get it. Like if you're gonna overthrowing along the sideline is a lot better than overthrowing over the middle.
and another tear. This one's a bad miss by Younghoe Koo. So that's not great. 2 short misses in this game. So
Yeah, 45-yard miss. Like I know back in the day, it's like, all right, 45 yards. Nowadays, you can't miss 45 yarders.
no,
It's yeah, it was a great start for Koo, 54-yard field goal, but yeah, I'm slightly worried now. Like 2 missed field goals. I thought he would go out there and he would just like adjust because the first one went wide left, and I'm like, all right, he'll go out there to like nail this down the middle, but the second one misses in the exact same spot as the first one. They're not missing by much, but I mean, under 50 yards, there's no excuse for not hitting him.
no, you got to hit that. So
Especially like if your kicker, I've made this argument before, but like with Koo, the expectation is even a bit higher for him, in my view, because I think he's what a top 5 paid kicker in the NFL.
yeah,
So it's like you really, if you're paying a kicker, I don't know how much exactly against the cap. I think it's what 3 mil or something
Mhm.
like that. He never mind. He's a $5 million cap hit this year, which is a lot for a kicker. It's all right. You need
Yeah,
to go out there and nail the vast majority of these.
yeah, you do. You can't. You can't miss those 40 something yarders. That's not okay. So we'll hope obviously that he can bounce back from that. But yeah, that if this continues into next week, that's going to start
It's
to be a concern.
going to be a cause because last season the Falcons lost that game at home against Tampa because of Coop. Like,
Yeah.
we all really like Younghoe Koo, like, I absolutely. He's done a lot, but it's like, alright, he missed 2 kicks in a game where he wasn't allowed to attempt another kick later on because I think they were down by it was a very close game,
Yeah.
and
But if
that
they'd hit
was
even one of those kicks, it would have been different. So yeah.
yeah, it was 6 points off the board, and I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, may have even cost the team the division because if you beat Tampa and you had swapped them, you have the tiebreaker, then who knows how the rest of the year goes, but yeah, it's, Koo isn't exactly as automatic as he was a couple of years ago. I would be slightly concerned right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at look at the season as a whole last year. He still had a very good season by NFL kicker standards. By his standards, like of a top paid kicker, it wasn't hit one of his best seasons, but it was still a strong season overall. And like I think ultimately, Koo, even if he does miss more than his like best, like you have to understand, like Koo was like he had 2 straight years. Like he had a 95% field goal percentage season in 2020. Then he had a 93, and then in 2022 and 2023 he was at 86.5, which that's still above average for NFL kickers. But you know, he didn't actually go down last year from 2022. A lot of people kind of make that mistake of assuming that he did. He actually had the same field goal percentage. Um, he did, I think, miss one more 40 to 49 yard kick than he did previously. Like he had, I think, 11 attempts inside the 40 from like the 40 to 49, and he missed 2, whereas in 2022 he missed 1 on 10 attempts. But he was, I think, worse on the long kicks last year. Like he missed 3 50-plus kicks. I believe one of those was like a ridiculous like 59-yard attempt or something like that. So I don't exactly hold that against him. But
Yeah, no, that's I wouldn't expect anyone to have to kick that. I think that's one of those where it's like, all right, it's sort of a prayer more than anything, even though some kickers do. But yeah, I'm not blaming him for that one for sure.
yeah, yeah. But ultimately, we need Koo to do well. But like even last year, like from the 40 to 49 where he's missed today, he only missed 2 kicks all season. So like it's not, it's the preseason. I don't think no, like Koo's not getting cut. Like there's not really any opportunity
You
to
know,
make a
I'm not
change. Like
saying
I know you're not. I know you're not. It's not. You're
I,
not
I,
saying that. Yeah, yeah,
I'm not calling for his head or anything. I'm just saying I am a little concerned because even last year, yeah, he had like 86%, 86.5%, but that was still 16th. Like that was just
yeah,
straight league average.
yeah.
And
So
you're paying him a lot more than league average. Like if he was a $2 million cap hit, 1.5 mil, it's like okay,
yeah,
you're getting what you pay for. But it's a $5 million cap hit. Like that's a solid player. Like you can sign a very solid player for that cap hit. But yeah, I'm just saying. Like I hope he does better this year than he did last year.
yeah, yeah. So I agree. I do think that we don't really have much to worry about now. I think this season is a significant one for him because I think if he continues at an average pace, next year the Falcons are going to be looking at cap savings all over the place because they're going to start to get
Yeah,
into cap crunch. So, um, and who like obviously the thing with kickers is like even if like next year in 2025 he has a $5.5 million cap hit, you're not, if you cut Koo, you're saving $3 million, which is like not nothing, but this isn't like a huge chunk of change you're getting back. So again, you have to sort of figure out if it's worth it or whatever. But this is an important year for him in terms of like he's getting into his early 30s. This is the time when some teams decide to sort of reevaluate kicker. I mean, we saw this happen with Bradley Pinion, the punter. Like the Bucks decided they were just going to move on, even though he was coming off like a Pro Bowl season. They were just going to get cheaper at punter. So again, he does. If the Falcons are really tight on cap and Koo is having average or worse seasons, then that could be a consideration. So I still love Koo. I think typically Koo plays his best in the clutch. Like I think he's often come through in those really clutch situations, and that is something that doesn't always show up in the preseason. But we'll have to see how he does this year. I think people that are concerned about his long-term future in Atlanta, That's fair, and I think we'll see what happens this year in terms of his statistics and how he does ultimately. And you know, again, like I think we should. It would be good to get him some playoff opportunities too, because if he like has a little bit of a shaky regular season and then we get to the playoffs and he's just absolutely money, then it's like okay, well that solves all ills. You know, like you can. There's a lot of ways this can go. But I think that yeah, I mean, I think if you have long term concerns, that's fair, and we'll just have to see how it develops. Um,
Yeah, because next year he's a $5.5 million cap hit, and it is a dead cap of like 3 mil. You can extend that out post June 1 and save, I think, like around $4 million in cap, which doesn't sound like much, but like you said, this team is going to be slightly strapped for cash next year. Like next offseason is not going to be as comfortable as this one or last year's offseason because that Kirk Cousins contract is going to be it's going to go up. Like it's going to go from like what 12 mil to 25 mil. I'm going to check
right.
that like for right now, but they backloaded or no, this year Cousins is a $25 million cap, but excuse me. Next year it goes up to 40. So that's $15 million just straight off like for nothing. Like $15 million just added to the quarterback position. And yeah, it's gonna be we're gonna go back to like being a bit strapped for cash for the next over the next couple of years for sure.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that develops. But I know someone asked, like, are there any other kickers like out there? No, not really. Brandon McManus, I think, still a free agent. I think Randy Bullock of the Giants, but he didn't really play last year. Brett Mayer of the Rams, he didn't really play last year either. And both those guys are 35, so it's like those would be short term like rental options at best. And I don't think even like Koo occasionally missing kicks that you'd rather he make, I think is still gonna be better than those three guys. Like even like an average Koo, not playing his best is probably still gonna be a better option than those guys. So not too concerned about that. I mean, Will Lutz might be out there, I guess. I don't see him listed. Let's check it out.
I think Will Lutz is still the Broncos kicker.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he went and reconnected with Sean Payton. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's with Sean
Yeah,
Payton.
yeah, Sean Payton like took him last year as he took him with him to Denver last season.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. So and again, Will Lutz is making the same as Younghoe Koo this year. Both making 5.5 in terms of salary cap. So, yeah. I don't have an issue with Younghoe Koo. And I know Adnan doesn't either, but I think the
Yeah.
idea that like this could be a critical year for him, that he probably needs to play some of his best football, is um you know is
I
valid.
don't
It's
have
valid.
I definitely don't have an I'm not calling for Koo's head like at all.
Yeah.
But I am saying that like all right, he's not infallible either. Like I've seen people in the fan base like, oh, like how dare anyone speak ill of Young Koo? Like he hasn't been like he's been solid, but I don't think he's been top five kicker level last year. And I'm saying, yeah, like it is fair to say it is fair to sort of put him under the microscope a little bit this year.
Yeah, for sure. So it's going to be an important year for him, no doubt. And I have confidence in him. And we'll just hope that he's has just some preseason stuff. He might be trying out some different things or different kicking positions. I know someone brought it up last year that he did miss several times in the preseason last year. And I think I do remember that. And ultimately it translated to what is like a rather average Younghoe Koo season. So again, no reason to panic, certainly. No reason to really have a strong reaction. I mean, if he misses like 3 more kicks in this game, then sure, yeah, we could talk about it more.
Yeah, but it's something that like it's something that you like we need to talk about it. Like we're not just gonna be
Yeah,
like, all
yeah,
right, our kicker went 1 for 3 in that first half, missed from 40 and 45, or let's just gloss over it and like not mention it. Like we have to like discuss it when it happens.
yeah, yeah. But if he comes back and makes 2 kicks in the second half, ends like 3-2, then it's like okay, it's not great, like 3 of 5 at the end of the game. Okay, it's not great, but you're fine with that. It ultimately. So,
Yeah, because if this was like a real game right now, like the other thing is like this being a preseason game, so like the reactions are a lot more like cooler. But if this was like a regular season game and the Falcons are down 7-3 instead of up 9-7, I feel like a lot of people's reactions would be a lot different.
Yeah, that's true. So, all right.
Yeah, we
Well,
are officially at the half, so
yep, we're getting there.
we
Getting
are
there slowly.
definitely there.
Yep, halftime. Um, yeah, I'm gonna take a quick El Bano break before the second half gets started, and then I will give Adnan the opportunity to do so as well. So I'll be right back, folks. Thanks for joining us. Refill your beer. Actually, I'm gonna get a beer too. I finished my coffee, so that means I can have a beer now. Adnan,
I
I'll be back to give you a break in like 2 minutes, but yeah.
I completely forgot about my drink. I'm not gonna lie. I have not. George would
Yeah,
be so
George.
disappointed
He
in me
usually
right.
prompts you. He's like, "What do you got? Come on." So yeah.
George, I greatly apologize uh for not having a drink in hand right now. I will try to mitigate that for sure here in the coming half. I will try to get something in my
Yeah,
hands.
we're gonna get Adnan hydrated. Don't worry. All right, I'll be right back.
All right. Um. Yeah. Go ahead. I will just discuss observations from the first half, like my personal observations. Great half from Chris Blair on offense. Good job by the starting offensive line because I guess Ryan Newsel he looks the best out of anyone so far because he didn't play last week and the offensive line was a disaster. And this week he is playing and the offensive line looks a lot better. I think Ryan Newsel is very very safe in his role with the second team. I think it's going to be him, Storm Norton, and Kyle Hinton. I think the team has really liked Kyle Hinton. Uh, he's been the main swing guard throughout camp. I think those three, along with the five starters, will be the 8 offensive linemen constituting the 53-man roster. Chris Blair, I thought sort of shot himself in the foot with that fumble last week, but as discussed, he's looked amazing since then. Like today, he has 64 out of the 83 yards for this offense. I think he will slide in as that wide receiver 6 on this team with Casey Washington being that wide receiver 5, Kaderil Hodge being the wide receiver 4 if we don't see any signings. Um, Running back 3 battle, it looks like it's Carlos Washington who's so far dominating it because yeah, Washington has 9 carries to Jace McClellan's 2. And Washington, it was hard to evaluate the run game last week overall because the offensive line was so poor. But overall, it looked like McClellan had a more efficient day. But today, Washington has 39 yards on 9 carries. Jace has just 2 carries, 2 yards total, and it looks like it's less of a competition than we sort of expected with that running back 3 because Jace looked like the guy in early on in camp that he was the favorite ahead of Washington and Avery Williams and starting with that Mercedes Benz practice, Carlos Washington was thrust in there as the wide receiver 3 and ever since then it looks like the coaching staff has firmly trusted him in that role. And yeah, I think he's going to go into this season as the running back 3. I'm sorry, I think I said a wide receiver 3. He'll be the running back 3. I think they will. I don't know if they're going to carry 4 running backs. Um, if they don't, I think they will want to put Jace McClellan on the practice squad. He's going to be the first name on the practice squad. Um, but yeah, I don't know especially during our conversation with the defensive line about how they may carry the extra interior defensive lineman. I don't know if they're going to carry a 4th running back. They could go into the season with just 3 running backs. Avery Williams' spot I think is also very much in danger. He hasn't he hasn't gotten any carries today. I there were 36 names on that inactive list. I don't think I saw Avery Williams' name on there as one of them. Um, And yeah, it looks like the return battle. I think Ray McLeod is winning it so far, and maybe that is their logic of we have Ray McLeod as the wide receiver 3, and he may double down as our returner, so that may give us the extra spot on the roster. So maybe we'll keep Contavious Street as well as a Brandon Dorless. But yeah, overall, I think it's going to be Carlos Washington firmly as that RB3. My prediction, my guess as of now is that Jason McClellan is likely to be on the practice squad. Um, I John Fitzpatrick is it's not a good sign for him that Ross Dwelly is inactive today. I think Ross Dwelly's firmly going to be the tight end 3, and they may place Fitzpatrick on the practice squad as well. Um, yeah, defensively, Rukaroro had the big sack early on. We had Brandon Dorlus who won the race to the football on the fumble, which really good sign for him. Overall, the Falcons did have 5 tackles for losses. The run defenses look really good. I've been very impressed with that. And in fairness to Lucas Dennis, who did have a poor angle on the ball, he does have 2 tackles for loss. So I mean, he's sort of making his money in run defense today. We're about to get the third quarter kickoff momentarily. Technically I've already seen it, but I don't want to talk about it yet. Trey Tarpley, the cornerback, had a tackle for loss. J.D. Bertrand, who has had a pretty solid day so far, and then Rook had the TFL on the sack. But yeah, overall, I've been happy. I've been happy with the defense overall for sure. Youngwei Koo, we talked about 1 for 3. I mean, even in the return game so far today, it's been Trey Vival who has the lone kick return and Natrone Brooks who has the lone punt return. But yeah, so far it's been a very impressive day for Josh Johnson as well on the other side. He's 11 for 11, over 100 yards, and it's one of those situations where it's like when you're playing Madden and you have it at all Madden, and the other team and the other quarterback just sort of starts dicing you up for like 10 straight completions, and the only way to stop him is if you can get a sack. But yeah, it's Josh Johnson, savvy veteran, 17th year man. I think he will make this roster. Uh, Devin Leary is checked in, and yeah, the Falcons will start things off. It looks like on the 43 of Baltimore, or excuse me, they start off at they started off at the 40 because of an illegal formation, and then they end up getting to the 43 with an end around by Jesse Matthews for 7 yards. So yeah, the Falcons are already in business. Great field positioning.
All right. So once again, I get back like literally like the second play. It's weird.
Yeah, and I mean you get back right as the Falcons get into Baltimore's territory.
Yeah, it's good.
So
Good
we still
timing.
have
Good timing.
to get
Yeah. Yes. I don't know if I don't know if that's the first carry for Spencer Brown. I didn't see if he got an earlier carry, but looks like a nice first carry there by Spencer Brown. The Falcons do add another running back to the mix. I think they were like, maybe we shouldn't give like Carlos Washington and Jace McClellan like 15 carries apiece in this
But
preseason
Jason only
game.
has 2.
Yeah,
Jason only
I
has
know.
2
Yeah,
carries.
it's interesting. All right. So, like Adnan said, Falcons in business, and we still got Heineke out here. Interestingly enough. Oh,
Yeah,
there
and
we
another
go.
big catch for Chris Blair.
Chris Blair again. Yeah. So
Chris Blair is cooking.
yeah, Chris Blair. These guys have families. Chris.
Yeah, Blair has 91 yards.
That's what you like to see, Adnan. That's what I like to see at least. All right. So Falcons now in the red zone officially. I think this is the first time they've gotten inside the 20. So good stuff here to start this second half. And wow, yeah, another nice run. Spencer Brown with a very emphatic opening to his Falcons career here. We get down, looks like inside the 10 here with Spencer Brown. Good stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a good sign for Jace. Because I mean, I would think that they would want to give him more carries. They want to showcase him a bit more. But yeah, 2 carries for 2 yards so far.
Yeah. We see Heineke just sort of throw that one out of bounds on 1st and goal. Nobody really got open. Seemed like the Ravens were kind of all over that little play
When do you
action.
think they start double covering Chris Blair?
Right now. Yeah. Right this second. Yep.
He has 91 out of 110 Heineke yards, so it's
Yep.
like, it, who else is he gonna? Who else has he been going to?
Yeah, like who else are you gonna double? Like you might as well double Blair. So. All right. Potential scoring opportunities here for the Falcons. Looks like Atlanta now inside the 5. I think that's Dylan Drummond.
Yeah, Dylan Drummond gets it's one of those PPR catches where I think now is a good time for my rant about how PPR is an inferior scoring system in fantasy football and how much I hate it. What
Okay. Yeah, save that for the fourth quarter. On it. No, just kidding. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'll give it another quarter because before I start having my anti PPR takes.
The rant begins. Yeah.
The best league is standard scoring. I will die on this hill. I will absolutely die on this hill.
I'm just a sicko for more points.
I absolutely hate that our Falcoholic league is PPR, by the way.
We could talk about it. Yeah, we could talk about it. But
it's another end zone shot overthrown over the head of Casey Washington.
Yeah, you have to think that they're just like literally like we're not going to show any red zone plays. It's just fades. Like it's fades all day. Like because I feel like they've only called fades into the red zone. Like
maybe they will be maybe that will be their red zone offense this year. Just
fades. Yeah, that's not great. That's not what
I
you
would
want
have
to hear.
a problem with that.
Yeah,
I would absolutely have a problem with that.
Yeah, don't want that. Younghoe Koo does hit the short chip shot field goal.
Okay, if he missed that
one, if he misses, then we can have the conversation.
Yeah, if he missed that one, then the conversation will be okay. Like I don't care what you guys think about us criticizing Younghoe Koo. Like we're having a conversation. But he makes it.
Yes, he does make it. Good for Koo getting back on the horse, getting an easy kick under his belt. Yeah, I mean they just it's pretty obvious to me that they're just like we're not going to call any like significant red zone plays. So that's fine.
I'm
whatever.
Fine with it, but I'm pretty sure like Taylor Heineke's like, guys, like throw me a bone or something.
Can we do something other than like? I mean, can you call another basic red zone? Can you just do like a short cross or something? Like a wheel route, like out of the backfield. Like I mean, anything. I mean, I don't know, but yeah. Don't love that, but whatever. I guess it's like, well, Casey Washington and Chris Blair, like it's your time. Go catch some fades. It'll be highlight reels or nothing. That is sort of the situation we're in. And yeah, I mean, for the record, it doesn't really matter in the preseason. Like I'd rather they didn't show their playbook to score touchdowns in the preseason, to be fair. So Corey Carter says Ron Tribble on 92.9, the game out of Atlanta, says he loves the Falcoholic. Rob's got to be careful. They might. You're not allowed to say those words on 92.9, as far as I know.
Apparently not. Hey, if he said that, he is officially my second favorite 92.9 the game person, right behind Joe.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Joe Patrick.
Friend of the show, Joe Patrick, who will be on Wednesday's upcoming show, by the way.
Really?
Nice. Yeah, friend of the show, Joe Patrick, and maybe get Rob Tribble on too, or Rob Tribble. Yeah, we'll call him up. So, and this is what I am enjoying. I just got this thing. It's called Super Bollocky. It's from Omegang in New York. It's good stuff. 7.8. So by the end of this game, if they don't hurry up, we're gonna be steaming. So, yeah, another kickoff opportunity here. I've only taken like one sip of it. I do think it's pretty good though. I do like it's a Belgian amber, pretty good. Like that stuff. Nice special teams tackle there by recent signee William Hooper, the cornerback, getting that guy.
Yeah, good for nice they stopped them inside the 20. That's huge this year. Like if you stop them inside the 20, like that's a huge win for the special teams unit. Like I said, like a decade ago, like that was just taken for granted, right? It's all right, yeah, kick it out of the back of the end zone. They'll start at the 20 every time, but now it's the rules are more adjusted at this point.
Yeah. So if you can get those returns shut down quick, you can definitely gain some positive field position.
At the rate we're going, 10 years from now, it'll be smart to just kick it out of bounds and have them start at 40.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we're already this game. These teams are much more committed to running the football than the teams in last week's game. So I think we're going to be all right. Yeah, I'm here for that as well. Yeah, get that offensive line some work. Yeah.
Yeah, Fox 5 is having their interviews with players where they're not really going to get anything meaningful out of them. But they have a production to put on as well.
Yeah. Also, an update from around the league. Giants quarterback Daniel Jones has thrown 2 picks already in his first action of the season, including a pick 6.
So Danny Dimes, huh?
Danny Dimes, throwing dimes, all right, just not to the guys you want.
Man, you remember when Daniel Jones first started, and then you had all those like Giants fans. Danny Dimes is out here, like, franchise quarterback. What
they paid him like one.
You want to guess what cap hit he is this season?
More than Kirk Cousins by $15 million, something like that.
More?
I think more. Yeah.
He's a $47.8 million cap hit this year.
Wow.
Which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's some absurdity. Oh, I think that if Josh Johnson's still in there, that's his first incompletion of the game. So.
I don't think he is. He's not. Yeah. It's not Johnson.
Okay.
It's quarterback number 10, Emory Jones, rookie out of Cincinnati.
Got it. Yep.
But yeah, it's the thing about Daniel Jones is they can't even cut him because he would carry a $69 million dead cap hit this year, which I guess you could post June 1st cut him, but it would not be worth it at all.
Right, and then it's like you just decide. Like I love Malik Neighbors. Don't get me wrong, but like them deciding not to take quarterback, pretty foolish. Pretty foolish behavior.
I know we're not a Giants show, but I feel like my prediction is I think next offseason they may cut him because post June 1, $11 million dead cap hit would carry a savings of $30 million overall. But then that's the issue, right? Who do you have a quarterback if you cut him?
Yeah. I guess the hope is to be bad enough that you are in play to get a quarterback next year, which I think they will be. I think they will be, yes.
They might be this year, actually.
Yeah. I think they probably will be, so.
Like, they could have Carson Beck or Shedeur Sanders if Dion lets his son play in New York, which...
Right, if he allows it.
That's so funny to me. Like, a college prospect just like... a year before the draft listing his demands of I will only go to these like 4 teams. It's like, okay.
It's like that meme. It's like I give you, this. You give me, I give you my services. You give me, $100 million. Like
I've never seen a team talk more shit coming off a 4-win season.
Yeah.
But hey, they had that like a 2-0 start where, they were in the spotlight.
Never forget it. Yeah. So did the Falcons, right?
And then Oregon and USC just were like, all right, like enough of shit.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah, the Falcons. Yeah, that's a great comparison. The Falcons 2-0 was just as much fool's gold as Colorado's last year.
It was. It's just because we can't have nice things. But I feel like if the Falcons start like 2 or 3-0 this year, it's like 100% legit. So
Oh yeah, because then you'll have beaten the Chiefs and Eagles.
Yeah, yeah. And
But
like the
yeah,
Steelers, who the Falcons never beat, by the way. The Falcons are like, wow, nice
yeah,
play there by Natrone Brooks, who fights off two dudes. He
kind of
fights off a block and fights to the wide receiver to make that tackle for loss on the screen. That was
Yeah,
really,
I will never forget 2023 training camp with Jerome Brooks.
yeah, he was good. I'm glad he stuck around, honestly. I think he's definitely going to be in the play for the practice squad again.
Yeah, I think he will be on the practice squad.
That was
Um,
really impressive play, for sure.
yeah, I mean, last year, in fairness, last year the Falcons won. Yeah, they beat the Packers, but the Packers were very injured. Like I know they didn't
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
couple of wide receivers. I think Aaron Jones missed that game as well. Uh, I think their defensive lineman missed it too. And yeah, I'll give it to Desmond Ridder. He had a great fourth quarter in that game. He had that deep shot to Matt Collins.
Yep.
Uh, Arthur Smith called that fourth and two, that audacious 4th and 2 to Bijan Robinson. And
Audacious. Yeah.
yeah, we were on top of the world for a second. We were tricking ourselves at that
We
point. We're
were.
like,
We were all
oh,
in.
you know, we're like 2-0. The Lions have a lot of injuries. Yeah, if we beat the Lions next week, that'll be great for tiebreakers when we both win the divisions.
Yep.
Man, and then yeah,
Yep.
everything went crashing down after that.
See, look at that. Look at that punt, Adnan. You can see, Natrone Brooks plays corner and then goes back and returns the punt. It's possible, because I was told D. Alford wasn't playing nickel because he had to return punts. So, there you go, right there. You see Natrone Brooks
No, that's
make a great
ridiculous.
play, immediately go back
Yeah,
and return that punt.
yeah, we can't have players, playing both special teams and positions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's just silly.
All right, we got a commercial break. Do we have anybody like a space weather enjoyer? This is like a weird tangent, but anybody enjoy some space weather like auroras and like solar flares and all that? Anybody into that stuff? Probably not. It's very niche, but well, you probably remember like what back in May we had like the crazy day where we had like aurora borealis visible like in Florida and stuff like that. So I've been like monitoring that more because it was cloudy up here in New York, so I was very upset that I didn't get to see it. So this weekend, probably another shot for people that are living in the top half of the U.S. to possibly see aurora borealis if you've never seen it. So just wanted to let people know there's a possibility of that tonight and tomorrow night because we have this is, I don't know if people know, the solar like the sun has like a schedule that it follows kind of where I think it's every 12 years. It has like a peak season and like a low season, and we are in the middle of peak solar season. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, could be good times to potentially see some cool activity in the sky over the next couple days. So there's my like second half of the preseason tangent, Adnan. So I know we got one on tap for you with the PPR rant. So we'll keep that one in the back pocket for the fourth quarter. But
I can't see PPR. Oh, like look, I okay, I'll save it. I'll save it. I'm not going to get into it because we have 7 minutes left in the third quarter. We'll have 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter by the time I finish.
Yeah, there you go. We're almost there. Just got to keep it going. Just a little bit longer. Almost there. So. Oh man.
Oh, Mad Tom K. I love the reference. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that Simpsons reference. Aurora Borealis at this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country.
Yeah.
Localized entirely within the stream.
Oh my god. We walked right into that one.
Yeah, we'll get our steamed hams out after that conversation.
There you go. Yeah.
Can I see it? No.
No.
Yeah, I'm background on me. I absolutely love old Simpsons. Like I grew up on old Simpsons. Like season 4 through like 9, 10 golden era, but from 3 to like 13, I absolutely like that was my shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hey, the Falcons are getting the ball back, down 1. They have the ball.
Got a chance.
Yeah, do have a chance out here.
Yep, yep.
Well, a chance to
Oh, it
get
is
a
John Paddock. It is John Paddock, Adnan, who does complete his first pass. So
hey,
there we
that's
go.
more than a better start than Rourke last week.
No doubt about that. So well, he's got a chip on his shoulder now. They did this just to get him that chip on his shoulder so he could really push that extra gear for the preseason action.
Yeah, KP2. I think I touched on it a little bit. I don't think Fitzpatrick is going to make the roster. My guess is he would probably end up on the practice squad. I think they would want to put him there. Like I said, it's a bad sign that Ross Dwelly is completely out this week. He's completely inactive. I think that will be your tight end 3.
Yeah.
And I think that they already have their blocking tight end in Charlie Warner, who's doubling down as a tight end 2, who also apparently had a beautiful 45-yard catch in practice the other
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's sort of a bit repetitive for John Fitzpatrick to be another block-only tight end on the roster. And I feel like for Fitzpatrick to have made the roster, he had to have made strides in his receiving game, and we just haven't seen it so far in camp or preseason.
Nice. Yeah. No, I'm really interested to see John Paddock, who completes, or I think he scrambles here for a little bit of scramble action. But no, I'm interested to see what he could do. It was a little bit weird, right? To see the whole thing with Nathan Rourke kind of fizzle out immediately. But it's the preseason. Guys come and go. So obviously we wish Nathan Rourke well, and we'll see what kind of craziness John Paddock can get up to here as he faces his first third down situation here in Atlanta.
Yep, it is his first third down, and this is where legends are born on 3rd and 7, the third quarter of the preseason.
First and last third down. No, just kidding. Kind of an ugly pass.
Welsh statistics.
Yep.
Well,
but it is. Yeah.
And yeah, the Falcons will be punting it away.
Yeah. The pass was not great, but it was complete, and it was somewhat close to a first down. So what is he? He's 3 of 3, right? So.
Yeah. At this point, I'm just as interested in who's making these special teams tackles as I am on the actual play. And yeah, on the punt, it's Anthony Johnson. I think that's maybe his second special teams tackle of the day. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it was a nice open field tackle. D'Angelo Malone almost had him again. So
yeah,
he's not far off. So we could start
Malone.
calling him the special teams dynamo, D'Angelo Malone.
Yeah, Malone, the absolute special teams demon, just down there. Yeah, like you said. Number 43, Anthony Johnson, getting it there. It seems like Kevin King is not playing either. Was he inactive or?
Honestly, there were 36 names on that list. I don't remember every single one of them, but I will go back and look. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I don't see Kevin King's name on there, but I haven't seen him all day, so
maybe he's hurt.
I guess he could be. We haven't heard anything about that.
Inactive? He was hurt.
Yeah, you would think he would be inactive. So I mean, maybe he got a minor scuff or something early in the game, and they just decided to hold him out, or I don't know. But
yeah, Kevin King, who had the interception last week,
almost 2 interceptions. Yeah, so he had a good game. I think he made a name for himself certainly in this secondary. Like I think I moved him into my final spot in terms of corner. But we'll see how that checks out. But Anthony Johnson having a good game too. So
I don't know if you saw the Daniel Jones pick 6, but man,
I did.
It is.
Did see it.
It is.
Oh God. Why do you think I brought it up on this Falcons program? I was like, well, we can dunk on Daniel Jones. That's some good content right there.
Yeah, it's I like he wanted to avoid the safety, sure, but he just threw that shit up like while getting taken that down in the end zone, and yeah, it was like a can of corn from like the 5 yard line.
Yeah, yeah. This is a pretty terrible throw. I don't understand. Uh, that was just like he's just going to. I mean, I guess he's trying to avoid the safety, but you know what? What gives fewer points than a safety? Than a pick six? A safety. So you know, you're better off taking the safety than the pick six. So you know,
Oh my god. All right, I don't care if I spoil this one. Natrone Brooks with another tackle, a tackle for a loss. He just came in. Looks like he got shot out of a cannon to like stop the running back in the backfield.
Natrone Brooks. Like I mean, we got all these guys. Like that's the thing. Like I feel like the corner depth is really strong here in Atlanta. Like the depth
My mistake.
corners.
It was a
Yeah.
2 yard gain, but still,
Oh,
it was a
still
hell of a
good
field
play.
goal.
Good play for. I mean, he's playing off coverage too. So to come flying in like that, still impressive. Yeah, nice play there, Brooks once again. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like we have questions about that like second corner spot. Like how good is it going to be really? Can we like trust that second corner? But like I feel like the depth corners are like, yeah, we got pretty good depth corners. Like I think you're pretty satisfied. Like I think you got Mike Hughes, you got Clark Phillips, you got Antonio Holmes, or excuse me, Antonio Hamilton. Who I think Antonio Hamilton was like the player of the game last week. In the secondary, and other than Kevin King, obviously.
Yeah,
And then you got
and
Kevin
I mean,
King.
yeah, and do you know what really helps your cornerback too more than anything else? Having two All-Pro safeties behind him, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
un and another really good cornerback on the other side of him.
yeah.
Um,
A
I,
decent pass rush, two great safeties.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
These things all contribute. You can't have like all pros at every position unless you're like the Legion of Boom, where you just hit on like 15 draft picks in a row. But you're gonna have weaknesses somewhere, and you just have to figure out a way to sort of limit the damage, essentially.
Yeah, Anthony Johnson just bit really hard on a double move, and
Yep.
Dayton Wade, the rookie out of Mississippi, took it all the way for a touchdown. It
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really bad play. Like that's the kind of play where like you end up getting cut because of it.
Yeah, yep. I saw the receiver just running completely wide open downfield, so that's never a good sign, certainly.
Yeah, like that was like, oh my god. Um, he bit so hard on it.
Well, these guys are trying to, in their defense, like these guys are trying to make a big play to make the roster. They're like they're throwing caution to the wind. They're like, I'm gonna try to get this pick because I got to do something crazy to make this roster, and you know, uh, sometimes it bites
Well,
you.
he certainly did make a big play.
A big play occurred. It did occur technically. So accurate
Yeah,
description there. Yeah.
yeah, 56-yard touchdown by Wade. Good play by him, but yeah, really bad from Johnson. But yeah, I haven't even gotten a chance to like make my Justin Simmons take like because he was signed afterwards. But yeah,
That's right.
that's
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like this defense now. Oh, the Ravens are going to go for two.
Cool.
Man, John Harbaugh's being an asshole right now.
I mean, like it's the preseason. You should go for two. Like,
Yeah, but it's like yeah, I don't know. Like if you don't want to like show off your like plays, like why are you going for two?
right.
Either way, I'm
Exactly.
gonna
Yeah.
spoil this one too, and Natrone Brooks stops it.
Yeah.
So
Natrone Brooks the goat.
Natrone Brooks,
As
yeah,
as Anthony Johnson fades, Natrone Brooks rises. So when one door closes, another opens. This is how things go. So
yeah. I mean, I think that with these two signings, it took two Pro Bowlers, but I feel like this defense has now become good enough. Like I feel like this defense is now like just good enough.
yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
before they were like bottom five, like I thought it was going to be more of a disaster than anything else because there were just too many holes to plug.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you bring in Matthew Judon, who's an elite pressure guy, a great pass rusher. And I'm not saying that your edge group is now good, but I feel like your edge group is now like damn near average, which is better than previously, which was worse in the league, in my opinion. And then you go from one of the three or four worst starting strong safeties in the NFL in Richie Grant to now probably the best starting strong safety in the NFL. I know Justin Simmons has made his name as a free safety, but I mean he has the tools to be a great strong safety as well. Very versatile. Second team All Pro 3 of the last 4 seasons. Pro Bowler each of the last 4 seasons. The Falcons have the best safety tandem in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like this is so important. I think this team was going to win 10 or 11 games either way because of the schedule in this division. But this is really important for after that, for beyond that. And in
Yeah.
the playoffs, I mean,
Yeah.
you need sometimes you just need like an individual player to make an individual play, and that can be the difference. And now the Falcons have added 2 guys who can make the difference in that way in high pressure moments. And yeah, it'll help whoever's the cornerback too, whether that's Mike Hughes or Clark Phillips or Antonio Hamilton or whoever gets the majority of those starts. Because remember the Legion of Boom, and I'm not saying that this safety tandem is as good as Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas, but
Right.
and I'm not saying that Terrell is anywhere near prime Richard Sherman, but the idea is still the same of remember the cornerback too, Brandon Browning, and then Byron Maxwell. Like those guys didn't really do anything outside of Seattle,
Yeah.
but because
They
they were
fit
in
the system. Yeah. Yeah.
because they were in that secondary with Earl Thomas behind them, with Cam Chancellor giving support, with Richard Sherman on the other side, like those guys ended up having career years in Seattle in that system. And it could be the same thing with Mike Hughes and or Clark Phillips this year, where you don't really have to worry about anything else, and you have 2 guys on the back end that can, even erase your mistakes at times. So
Yeah.
it's exciting. Like you've sort of killed 2 birds with one stone with that Simmons pickup of all right, you've obviously filled the safety spot and you've made it a lot easier for your other weakness, which is the cornerback 2 spot. So yeah, I'm incredibly excited right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think like with Justin Simmons, like the one thing that I think you could point to last year when people have said like, oh, he might be sort of not at his peak anymore, was that the range as like the true single high guy was a little bit diminished, going into his like age 31 season or whatever it is. But again, like Jesse Bates in his prime, one of the NFL's best deep safeties, he can play that role. If Justin Simmons has lost a half a step and maybe doesn't have the elite range on the back end anymore, move him up to the box. Like let him play split cover 2. Let Simmons play closer to the line of scrimmage, where Simmons has always been a great run defender and a very good blitzer as well. So, just if he's lost maybe half a step, as he gets into his 30s in terms of his like previously just elite range on the back end, move him closer to the line of scrimmage. Let Bates sit back there. That's where he's the best anyway. So it works out. Like any concerns you might have had about that, you sort of mitigate it by the presence of Jesse Bates. So, I mean, I think that Simmons pickup just makes so much sense. He's like a supercharged Richie Grant, basically. Like he's like Richie Grant if you trusted Richie Grant to make the right read like 90% of the time. Which I trust Richie Grant to make the right read, 50% of the time. So, Richie Grant is not a disaster at safety. Certainly, like I think we were kind of hoping that Richie Grant would be like a solid starter this year, and I think he could still reach that level.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I had no hopes of that.
You had no okay. I don't want to speak for on Richie Grant.
Yeah, that's why I was banging the drum. That's why I was one of the reasons why I was so mad at the secondary not being addressed, because I'm like, I've seen enough of Richie Grant. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I think last year was the year for him to really show out, and he was more or less a disaster. And yeah, now we don't have to worry about that. I feel like he could be a solid backup safety. Like, I think that's his level. I think that's his role in the NFL. And now, you have one of the stronger backup safeties in the NFL, probably.
Yeah.
And Simmons, yeah. I mean, also $8 million. Like, I thought he would go for way more.
Yeah, me too. So, yep, John Paddock not doing so hot on this series, as he's been under pressure and missing some throws. So not a good situation here for John Paddock on this second series. First series was okay. But yeah, we're getting into the deep offensive line reserves as well. So, not going super great and on that front either.
Yeah, and I mean, just sticking with Simmons, I know we talked about it on the show. I predicted that it was either a one or the other with Matthew Judon or Simmons. I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect one, like we said, Simmons to sign for only $8 million a year, and two, for Judon to not get a new contract. Like, I'm shocked that Judon is going to agree to play on the last year of his deal. I could have
Did he
sworn that
like
he
say
would.
that, or did they just
I
have they?
didn't say that, but I think that's the expectation of it.
I guess we'll
And
see. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's a really bad look for the Falcons if he now starts to hold out like Hassan Reddick is with
Oh
the
yeah, he's
Jets.
not going to hold out. He wasn't holding out with the Patriots, but I just assumed that they were going to give him a new contract. But yeah, I guess we haven't. It hasn't happened
Oh,
yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, they said like that was reported that he's not coming with a new contract, and yeah, like apparently there it's not reported that there was communication, but I would assume that there had to have been some communication about this previously. But yeah, right now he's not getting a new contract.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the way like I mean, we what we heard like guys, think back to when Terry Fontenot was hired. Who did he say was his biggest inspiration as a general manager? Ozzie Newsome, right? The Ravens have made their sort of made. And speaking of the Ravens, right, playing them right now, they have become so good not because they hit on every draft pick or because they are just the most savvy team ever. They have a lot of draft picks. They constantly gain draft picks through comp picks. The Ravens are like one of the number one teams in getting comp picks every single year. And the Falcons have been in a situation roster wise where they haven't really been able to collect any because they've had so much work to do that they've had to sign free agents every year. They haven't been able to afford going and sort of letting guys walk to collect comp picks because they just have to sign guys. So um going and getting these big time free agents on 1 year deals is kind of a core part of what the Ravens do, because you either decide that you like them and want to re-sign them, in which case it doesn't impact your comp formula because they're already in your building, they're not outside free agents, or you let them walk and it helps your comp formula because you have these big time free agents getting significant deals elsewhere that help stack up comp picks in your favor. So, again, you either almost sack there by the Falcons. They don't get it done, but, almost. So again, you look at like Justin Simmons is on a 1 year deal. He's trying to rehab his value. Maybe the Falcons make him an offer. Maybe they don't. But if he gets a big offer elsewhere, that's probably a 3rd round comp pick. Same thing with Judon. If they don't end up re-signing Judon and he walks, that's a potential 3rd round comp pick because of the type of compensation he's going to be looking at. So, assuming they have good seasons, obviously, but
Yeah,
the
and
yeah,
also in that formula, the Falcons can't sign other big name players, which they probably won't be
right.
because of the cap constraints. Because before the Falcons have sort of blown their comp pick change. Like the Falcons have not had many comp picks like over the past few years, and I remember because I guess I'm a sicko who was just like tracking that. But yeah, I remember it was Fowler. It was Dante Fowler a few years ago. He gets his signing with, or first, excuse me, first it was Austin Hooper. Years before that. Remember when Austin Hooper signed that massive contract with the Cleveland Browns? It was like over $10 million a year. He was one of the highest paid tight ends in the league. The Falcons were supposed to get a 3rd round comp pick for that, but they didn't because they signed Dante Fowler, and that offset it.
Right.
Now, fast forward, I think it was a year later, and Dante Fowler signs that contract with the Dallas Cowboys. The Falcons are supposed to get a 4th round comp pick that year. They don't because they signed Marcus Mariota. And even though Marcus Mariota was not worth he did not get the type of contract for a 4th round comp pick. He got the type of contract for I think a 7th round comp pick.
It was a
But the
5th, I think. But yeah, it was a lower pick. It was a lower pick.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was a much lower pick, but the way the formula works is it's a 1-for-1. You have to sacrifice one of them, even if the 4th rounder is higher.
Yep.
And I think the Falcons were left with hoping that someone signed Fabian Moreau to like I think $4 or $5 million, which would have given them like a 7th round comp pick, which they could have given in the Mariota deal, and they would have kept the 4th rounder from Dante Fowler. But yeah, the moral of the story is you won't get those comp picks if you make those signings, but the Falcons aren't expected to make any big signings next offseason. And yeah, if you don't re-sign Judon or Simmons and they go for big deals, you'll get a 4th, maybe even a 3rd round comp pick for each of them, which I mean, still pretty nice, like very nice actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, you don't get those till the following year, just so people
Yeah.
know. Like they would be 2026 picks, but you start like the idea and what the Ravens do is they start stacking them up every year. So like you've got extra picks coming in every year. And if you get especially high picks, um like you can really utilize that to help bolster your depth, to trade up in the draft, to trade down in the draft, and combine to do stuff. You could trade them for other players. It really, it used to be that you couldn't trade the comp picks. That went away several years ago, so that's no longer a thing. So it's you're just collecting extra picks, and it's a really smart strategy. Oh man, Natrone Brooks again absolutely levels
And
Kelly,
Natrone
number
Brooks,
33. Woo,
hell of a play. Hell of
yeah,
a play. He's my winner on defense today.
yeah,
That was John Kelly who felt the brunt of Natrone Brooks's hit stick on that play.
yeah. Natrone Brooks preseason goaded, folks. I think we can go ahead and put that out there. Um, you know, yeah, that was a hell of a that was a hell of a hit. Nice leads with the shoulder. It's clean. Good play there by Natrone Brooks on that one. That bring up a 3rd and 11 for the Ravens. We'll see if the Falcons defense can get off the field here. It's uh, they just gave up a touchdown on the last drive, so we'll hope for the best here.
Yeah,
I think they do hold up,
they're
so that's good.
showing
Yeah,
a Natrone Brooks highlight reel right now, which a lot of big hits, a lot of some tackles for loss, some great stops. So it's always a good sign in the 4th quarter when you're one of these guys on the field and they put together a package for you.
yeah, absolutely. So Falcons do force a punt there, so Falcons offense going to get another opportunity here as we're into the 4th quarter. So Adnan, if you want to do your PPR rant,
All right,
you
look,
officially can. Yeah.
all I'm saying is, why was PPR made in the first place? It was to sort of balance out these amazing running backs. So we know 15 years ago it was the era of the bell cow running backs, right? Every team seemed to have had at least one like amazing running back who was going to get 300 plus carries. I mean, we remember it in Atlanta. You had Michael Turner, you had Adrian Peterson, Jamal Charles came a little bit later, but pre those guys, Sean Alexander in '04, it was just wide receivers were not on the same level as these running backs. So I think PPR was just like created to sort of balance that out a little bit, where you get points for catches, and that sort of puts those wide receivers on more of a level playing field. But now, like the bell cow running back era is pretty much over. Like, yeah, sure, you have Christian McCaffrey, maybe Brees Hall, possibly. I mean, you had Derrick Henry like recently. Not, I don't think Bijan's going to be a bell cow for the Falcons, guys. By the way, guys.
I
So
I disagree, but yeah.
uh, Tyler Algier is going to get his carries, like, or he's going to get his like fair share of carries, should I say? Speaking of carries, Jace McClellan just had his best
Yeah,
run of the day,
nice
so
run.
he
Yeah, yeah.
really needs that. So, but basically, my point is the bell cow running backs. There are not that many anymore in the NFL. Everything is now like more of a committee based approach, and PPR has sort of gone through the roof more than ever now, and it just feels so unnecessary. And also, I just hate the idea of rewarding players for catches that don't go anywhere. Like
Yeah, I
the
agree.
running back should not get a point for catching a screen pass, which goes for 0 yards. Like the yards are what's important. Derrick Henry should not have the same amount of points for a 12-yard run as Austin Eckler does for a 2-yard catch.
Like that's
Yeah,
fair. It's a fair criticism.
that's my I don't like PPR. One catch for 30 yards is more efficient and better for a team than 4 catches for 20 yards, but guess which gets more points?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my reign over. PPR reign over.
Yep. No, I like it. I like it. It's not. again, I think it's a valid point. I think a lot of people just like more points, like just in general. Like we all like higher scores. But is that enough of a reason to do it? Again, it's a fair point. But um, I think at this point, it's not to balance out the running back so much as it is to help balance out the quarterback value, because in superflex quarterbacks, I mean quarterback also is in a tough spot, because like if you don't do superflex, quarterback is basically worthless. It's like, well, who cares? You could take one in the 15th round. Who cares? Who cares at all? And if you do superflex, then it's like quarterbacks just go like the first 7 picks of the draft, and they're super valuable. So
I
yeah,
think with quarterbacks, it sort of goes in phases because I think the
yeah,
last 2 or 3 years having one of those top 4 quarterbacks made a big difference.
it
Like
did.
having a Josh Allen was a huge difference from picking like the QB8 or QB9. Like last year, there was a big difference between Josh Allen and Jared Goff, who I think was the QB8.
Yeah,
Whereas I feel like now we're sort of getting back to that, like quarterbacks are a bit deeper, like this season specifically. So I don't think I'll be taking a quarterback high in my own personal draft. But
in
I
Falcoholic
do,
drafts, he's not giving you any clues. He could take one
yeah,
high
yeah,
in
I could.
Falcoholic draft. Yeah,
Alcoholic is super flex. I'm taking
yeah.
quarterback round one. I'm
we're,
just saying.
we're all taking quarterback.
But I mean, yeah, just in general, I feel like the last couple years going like aiming for that elite quarterback has made a difference. Whereas now it's like it's the phase of all right, we're back to quarterbacks being deeper, and we'll have that again in a few years. I would guess where like the top 4 or 5 are going to be like a tier above.
Yeah, yeah. Nice pass from John Paddock there to Josh Ali for Paddock's biggest completion of the game. Yeah, and on the topic of fantasy, for those of you that are interested in playing fantasy with us, we've got our supporter leagues firing up. Make sure you fill out the Google form. It's posted on the Patreon. It's posted in the YouTube channel members community section. It's also on the Discord. And if you're not signed up for one of those yet, you can do so at that link, which you have access to if you sign up either for the Patreon, if you're more of a podcast enjoyer, get the podcast perks there, or the YouTube channel memberships, get more of the video stuff like early access videos as opposed to early access podcasts or whatever. Any of the paid tiers get you access to that. We'll accommodate everyone who wants to play. So yeah, you can sign up there. I believe we just need people to sign up before the end of the next preseason game, because the drafts are going to start the like Monday after the final preseason game. So keep an eye on that. And if you're interested, check it out.
There's a lot of
Join us.
playing now.
Yeah. What's
There's a
that?
lot of last year there were what three leagues.
Yeah, there's 3 leagues. It was good. We definitely have, Adnan and I are gonna play, but if you don't like us, I think we had Dave in a league last year. I think we have Evan usually in a league. We usually have
Yeah,
some other folks as well.
we
So yeah,
normally divvy it up to where like
yeah, yeah,
some Falcoholic staff is in some league.
yeah, yeah. So you'll get to play with one of us no matter what. So
Yeah, man, hey, the Falcons are moving it right now. This is what the Ravens get for going for 2 and not getting it. They would have been up
yep,
8, now they're up
yep.
7.
That's what you get. The
I
league
don't know.
giveth. Yep.
My personal philosophy on the 2-point conversion is, I you do it when you sort of have to do it, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you miss it, then you chase the point. Then you're like
Yeah.
chasing the point all game. The exception for me on that is I think if you're down by 15, or yeah, if you're in a situation where you have to go for 2, like one if you have to score 2 touchdowns and go for 2, like analytically you go for 2 the first time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Every single time because like even if you miss, like you have that chance. And I feel like I remember last year people buried Arthur Smith for that against Washington, where I think the Falcons were down 15. They scored a touchdown and they went for 2 when they were down 8.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of reasons to bury Arthur Smith, but that was not
That's not one of them. Yeah.
that was completely correct because
Yeah.
if you go for 2 and you hit it, then great, you're only down 7. If you don't get it there, then you still have another chance to go for 2 and make it up. Whereas if you don't go for 2 right away and you go for 2 on the second touchdown and you miss it, like the game is over. So
Yeah.
analytically, every single time, go for 2 if you're down 15 and you just scored.
Yeah, you can get yourself in a better position and make it a little bit. I think it like puts less pressure on the players, which I think is always good. Like if you can put yourself in a position where you've got a chance to recover, as opposed to making it come down to one play, and you're taking a little bit of pressure off your players and letting them play a little bit looser. I think that's typically what you want to do in most situations. So
That's a pure flow chart play. Like
yeah, yeah.
that one just makes no sense. Like I get it. People, I don't even feel like there is an argument otherwise.
Yep. John Paddock throws an absolute duck and gets picked off and maybe then
However,
gets fumbled. Yeah.
however, the ball gets fumbled back to the Falcons. That was a pure fourth quarter of the preseason play.
Yes.
I think that ball hit the ground though. So I
I
think
think
this
it
needs
probably did, but it was a duck either way. That was a absolutely terrible pass. I'm not sure
it
what was going
it
on there,
would
but
be better for the Falcons for that play to stand because
yes.
it gives them the first down by virtue of the possession being changed. But um, did they give? Did they call that a fumble? By the way, I don't know if they called that a fumble.
It should be a fumble.
It should be a fumble, but I don't know if the refs gave it as a fumble.
I think they
Hmm.
did. Yeah, I think they did, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. Yeah.
We'll clean some stuff up after the review. However, I think the ball hit the ground either way. So
Yeah,
the
probably could.
ball should
Probably
be
did.
coming to the Falcons for a 3rd and 9 from
Yeah.
Baltimore's point.
But yeah, I don't know what route John Paddock thought that was like. Would have that been like a stick route or something where he just like it was supposed? I mean, I don't know. I don't know where he was throwing it. I think that was a bad throw slash read because I think the receiver ran. It was looking like an out or something like that. But he threw it like it was a stick. But like even if it was a stick, he shouldn't have thrown that ball because the defender was right there. So, yeah, I don't know what the heck's going on with that one. Um, didn't that was a bad decision. No way to slice it. Think there was a miscommunication on the route, but I think you also just don't throw that stick when the defender's sitting on it like that anyway. But whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, it definitely was not. It's not an interception, but yeah, I don't know what exactly was happening on that play.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those where it's like, all right, let's move on. So refs figure this out quick. This should not be a long review. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got a commercial for the next preseason game, which is on Friday at 6:30 p.m.
That's
Or
right.
it coverage starts at 6:30. It's a 7 p.m. game
Yeah.
against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So
That's right.
you know
Our
the nameless.
perennial preseason nemesis, the Jackson Jaguars. So
Yeah, I guess if you want to check out the Bens for cheap, that's the game to do it. It should be very very cheap to get in if you're in the Atlanta area.
yep.
And yeah, this was correctly called an incomplete pass. Falcons will get the ball back 3rd and 9.
Yep. Good stuff there. Well, not good stuff, but not terrible stuff, I guess, is the main takeaway. But yeah, we'll see if John Paddock can get anything going here.
I I'm not gonna lie that John Paddock made a really solid play on 3rd down there. Like you'll see it in about a second. I don't care as much about spoiling because it's the
Yeah,
fourth
yeah,
quarter. Yeah, it's he got lit up with pressure and he still gave his wide receiver look like Jesse Matthews a chance there. And Matthews almost got to it. It was almost a touchdown, but good job by Paddock, like under the heat of pressure there. Like
yeah, because they're empty. So yeah, I mean
yeah,
he's gonna
the
get
run
it.
yeah, there was a legit chance at a completion there.
Yeah, that was really close. You're right. Yeah, shame. But yeah, great play by Paddock navigating that, and getting that ball out and getting it on target too. You really would expect your receiver to come away with that, especially when they're open. But yeah, it was very close indeed. So
Yep, and the Falcons will make the field goal attempt a bit harder based off a false start.
Wonderful, wonderful stuff there. They got to, bump Koo out to that 40-yard range so he can get that, get a successful 40-yard kick. So he did hit the one that didn't count for the record. So
Yeah, Young he missed again. Same thing, wide left.
I mean, you don't love it.
Yeah,
Don't love
it's.
it.
Can we have the conversation now? Can we have the conversation about possibly being, a little worried now? But yeah,
I mean, he hit it before the full start.
he
So
hit the 44-yarder, but then yeah,
I
missing
mean,
three in a game is.
it's not good. It's not good.
Yep. Yeah, the Falcons are officially down 7.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, like I said, it will be a lot more infuriating in the regular season because it's, you would possibly be up if you added those points. But the reason why I'm saying like, yeah, it's worrying is because it's preseason, but it's for Youngway Koo, like these kicks are the same as like the regular season, right? Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be 45 in the regular season, the same as it is here.
Yep. No, I mean, can't have that. Absolutely can't have that. So, nope, gonna have to get it cleaned up. No other way around that.
Yeah, definitely, needs to get back into the lab and work on not hooking it to the left because all three have been like missed right to the left. So,
Yeah.
it's 2 for 5 isn't great. Like no
No.
matter what the scenario is, especially because none of the missed kicks were from over 50 yards out.
Yeah.
All were
Yeah.
from inside 50.
Yep. He's got one more preseason game to sort of reinstill confidence in people, but the Falcons have made their bed at kicker. There's no other
Yeah.
kicker coming. So
They are going into the season with Youngwei Koo. I'm just
yeah.
saying that it is fair to be worried about Youngwei Koo. I think at this point, at least a little bit worried about Youngwei Koo.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to dig his grave or anything here, but you have to have like when he does great, yes, we praise him, but when he does poorly, like it is very fair to criticize him as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we have the Ravens now, a little under 8 minutes left, and we'll see if the defense can give the offense another chance at possibly tying this game.
Might need a pick six to get this one. Might need a pick six on that. So defense is probably going to have to score some points if we want to have a chance in this game, especially since we have 9 points on the board that we just missed. So, can't really have that. So,
Yep, and it's yeah. At this point, I'm again, I am an advocate for the running clock.
yes, I certainly hope that we can get some running plays here. Um, looks like Devin Leary in as the quarterback. So, for the Ravens, get a quarterback change
We're
here.
going deep into the rosters right now. Like these are going to be if you list out every team's practice squad this season, like later on, you will see a lot of these familiar names on there.
Yep, yep,
Great play by Milo Eifler to stuff a run play.
yeah,
So yeah,
love to see
the defense
that.
will have a chance at a third and intermediate right now to possibly get off the field.
Yep, nice hit stick there by Eifler. Falcons gonna have a chance to stop this drive and get another scoring opportunity, perhaps. We'll see.
Yep, and yeah, it's gonna be converted.
Okay, well that would even.
It's killing the suspense right now, but yeah, Leary will scramble for enough, and yeah, he juked Lucas Dennis out of his shoes on that play.
Yeah,
So
Lucas Dennis. Sorry, brother. Think it's over for you.
Yeah, it's not great from Lucas Dennis. So he did have a couple tackles for loss in the first half. I gave him some props for that, but yeah, it's uh gave up the second biggest play of the day, behind right behind that double move, and then yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, hey,
Not
well,
great at all.
yeah, this is the first holding penalty I've seen maybe in the entire preseason too.
Yeah, haven't seen a lot of those so far. So
Man, that's an infuriating penalty, isn't it?
yeah,
Like, especially after your team like gets a play and it's like, all right, back 10 yards, first and 20. It just feels like a drive killer.
yeah. They typically are. It's
Yeah,
tough.
20 yards is hard to get on 3 plays.
It is.
Especially given what the Falcons were working with on offense last year. It's like, all right, you go back 10 yards, like you might as well just punt the ball away right there.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I am a fan of this from the Ravens. Some nice plays to get those, keep that clock rolling.
Yep. I respect it. Trying to keep the clock rolling, trying to get this game done. Yeah. I mean, we're only at 2.5 hours on. We only got 5 minutes left.
Hey, shout out to both of these teams.
Yeah.
Unlike the Falcons last week, keeping us there late
Yeah.
into our
Oh
Friday
my
nights.
god, it was like 4 hours and 30 minutes. It's awful. So that's the real crime. Not Younghoe missing kicks. Keeping a preseason game going for like 4 hours. That is ridiculous. We can't have that. So, um, all right.
Yep. And hey, oh fuck yes. All right, excuse my language, but man, Natrone Brooks, another big hit on third down. It looked like it forced an incompletion. I don't know if they called it a fumble, but yeah, Natrone Brooks lays down the hit stick to
Yeah,
get the ball back for the offense.
my man Natrone coming correct, making his case
Yeah,
today.
this Natrone Brooks game.
This is the Natrone Brooks game. Love it. Yeah, Brooks crushing it today. Absolutely. You love to see it. You love to see the Natrone Brooks hit stick to give the Falcons another chance. We'll see probably 3.5 minutes or so the Falcons will get here.
Yep, definitely the Natrone Brooks game, and I mean, yeah, he's getting his props on the bench right now.
Oh yeah.
He's been very impressive. Like I don't know, I don't know exactly if he's going to make the roster, but man, like he is definitely he's stating his case right now. I
Yeah,
don't know
he
if
is
there's,
for sure.
but yeah, like I wouldn't be mad with seeing Natrone Brooks on the 53. Like I'm saying this as someone who's been very biased toward Natrone Brooks since last season in camp. But yeah, I think he's done everything asked of him so far.
He has for sure. Yeah.
I mean,
No, I
the
mean other than like picking it off. I mean, he's basically done everything he can. So
yeah, it's not even like he's just impressing with his physicality out there right now.
yeah,
I feel like he's really set the tone.
yeah. No, I've been really impressed for sure. Love to see. You just love to see guys stepping up. Honestly. Yeah, and I think Natrone's like an undersized corner too. He's like 5'11", 180. So he's a light corner. So to see him playing with that physicality, like you have to do, like if you're an undersized player, you have to be more physical than everybody else because that's the only way you're gonna cut it. And yeah, love Mark Ramondi says a shot of Natrone. So
I
good
love
job.
it.
Great tweet, Mark. That's a great tweet. Definitely good one. Yeah. And Dave says, not gonna lie, ready for the clock to hit 0 on this one. Yeah, Dave. Yes, Dave. We're all there. We're all there with you.
Yeah, we are ready to continue with our Saturdays.
We are.
Get
We are.
this.
This is a
Let's get this,
respectfully long This is a respectful length for a preseason game, I think.
get this finished by 3 p.m. And I'm trying to eat lunch, man.
Whole
I'm
day ahead of us,
hungry,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. Nice little shot of football in there. Some mildly interesting stuff. Rest of your day, all ahead of you. Nothing to worry about. Um,
You know, for the fight fans, there's UFC 305 tonight.
that's right. Yep.
What's any Israel Adesanya fans? Yeah, that's something that. Oh, by the way, I'm telling you this for the first time now in front of everyone on the show, but yeah, Mark Raimondi, great guy. Fantastic. Working with him, like getting to know him during camp. He said he would definitely be down to come on the show.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I had him
any-
on like super early, like after he got here, as just for like a quick sort of catch up show. I think it was like after minicamp or something. But yeah, I would love to have Mark back on, and I'm certain that we will here soon as we get into this regular season. But
yeah, the
yeah.
reason why I'm bringing that up is because I know he was a fight reporter
Hmm.
back in
Hmm.
before he covered the Falcons. So yeah, I made the connection with UFC.
Absolutely. No, definitely actually long career covering. I think it was combat sports for ESPN. As we get another good run from Spencer Brown here, um, to open that drive.
Let's see if the Falcons can go downfield, score this touchdown, and then get this 2-point conversion for the win.
Yeah, no, let's see if we can do this. Yeah, because they're not going to kick. They're not kicking an extra point. They're not tying this game. They're not going to go down like cowards.
Have
That's
you
for
seen
sure.
Youngway Koo?
We're
We
not
may
putting it in
lose.
the area. We're not kicking that one. Yeah, you lost your chance. So
Okay, I will say, all right, this is a beggars can't be choosers type thing. I know we've been asking for that clock to hit 0, but I don't think now is a situation to run the ball.
no, no, yeah. I mean,
There
yeah,
are under
you
30
try to win
minutes to
it. Try to
play.
win it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Go out there and let them sling it. Like
yeah, yeah,
out there and try to win this game.
yep. Yeah, nice run for Spencer Brown though. Didn't know much about him prior to this game, but he's running with some heat. Looks like we're gonna get a running back change and get Jaceris McClellan out there. So
And in fairness to the Falcons, they do have all 3 timeouts, so it's no rush right now. The entire playbook is open.
yeah, nice run there by Jace as well. So running game definitely better. It still wasn't tremendous. Definitely better in this game than it was last week, where it was basically a complete non-factor. So
Okay, okay, we are moving. I think they're trying to get a no huddle going, not knowing that they've hit the 2 minute warning.
it's good.
But
It's good
yeah,
to be ready. Good to be ready just in case.
hey, you stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right? Yeah,
Yep.
OJ
Yep.
Hellier with his first catch of the day.
There you
And
go.
yeah, goes for a first down, gets into Baltimore territory, and yeah, we are moving it. We are cooking right now. 16 yards for Hillier. Falcons
Yep.
will have it. Baltimore's 48 on the other side of the 2 minute warning. 3 timeouts, and yeah, a chance to become legends.
To
Chance to
take down the preseason champs,
yes to
Yeah.
slay this dragon. To
Yes.
slay the Baltimore Dragon and to etch their names in history as
Yep.
week 2 of 2024 preseason winners.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it like last year was like the first preseason game they'd lost in like 10 seasons or something? So like,
That's
it
something ridiculous.
would have been a little bit more hyped if like there was a chance for that, this week. But the Ravens don't lose in preseason often. Okay, so like we still big deal. So we'll see if we can get it done with under the tutelage of John Paddock and company.
Hey, people are gonna sing songs about John Paddock if he gets this done today. Hey,
John Paddock and yep.
we're still talking about what Matt Sims from a few years ago at the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, the simulator. Yeah.
By people, I mean us. Like we'll be talking about
We'll
the
be
years
talking about that. I remember. Yeah.
us in this stream and probably nobody else.
Mhm.
Aaron Freeman might mention it as well, but yeah, like nobody else outside of this very exclusive group.
Mhm. You guys know. You guys know. So
Yeah,
yes,
I
the
mean, hey,
Ravens did lose last week. Yes, I'm aware. It's no longer like, oh, they can't ever be beat in the preseason, but still.
yeah, it's we'll never forget that Jared Bernhardt game-winning touchdown catch against the Lions in preseason 2 years ago either.
Yeah.
If only you had told me that would be the peak of the Desmond Ridder experience in Atlanta.
Yeah, the absolute peak. That one good drive. He was crisp on that drive, Adnan.
Hey,
Okay,
he was
so
great on that drive.
he
I'll
was
give it
crisp
to
on
him
that
on that
drive. Yeah,
Absolutely great.
that one
Great on that
scripted
drive.
drive in the preseason was
Hey,
absolutely clutch.
Timmy
Yeah.
Horn got that fumble recovery to give us a chance. Jared Bernhardt came back to the ball on I think what was a 4th down, and we got to call that play-by-play with nobody caring.
And nobody breathing down our necks about that one. I'm glad we got to enjoy that game at the very least. So, hey, we don't blame
Okay.
you guys. We were trying our best to hype up the Falcons and get excited for that season. But, in hindsight, yeah, we didn't really have anything there. But can't blame us for trying. Adnan was not trying in training camp. He was all in on the Desmond Mitter train.
I wasn't hating him for no reason.
No, it was justified.
It was fair criticisms. It was fair criticism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the schedule tricked me too. I thought last year they would make the playoffs, but I underestimated just how important that quarterback play was. I thought Ritter would at least be a bit more decent.
Yeah. Me too, for the record. But yeah.
2 years ago, though, yeah, like no offense, but we had Steven Means starting. I think Daron Harmon was starting.
You get the
I think
means.
that was the Daron Harmon, Eric Harris, like
That was when Daron Harmon fell off a cliff. Also, yeah.
Yeah,
It was good the year before. So yeah.
A lot of collateral damage in that statement, by the way. Like there's a lot of guys catching strays right now.
Yeah, we're just we're really messing it, but ultimately
Yeah,
we're focused on this game. Yeah, a little under 2 minutes.
Was
Yeah,
the starter that year. Sheesh.
Nice again by Jaceris, the first of his name. Nice run there, right up the middle. Yeah.
And the Falcons don't seem to be rushing. They're going to finish with the ball here, for better or for worse. Like
we're
the
going.
Ravens.
Yep, we're going down or not. John Paddock looks incomplete there to John Fitzpatrick, but again, incompletion not terrible at this stage of the game. Stops the clock, so we'll see how this drive plays out here with the Falcons with a chance, potentially, with a score to win this one, if they were able to convert the 2-point as well.
Yep, and the Falcons will get the first down. It's a pass to Jesse Matthews for 13.
Oh, that might be, I don't know if that's his first catch or...
Yeah. No, it's his fourth catch. He's been
fourth catch.
He's been Paddock's favorite target today.
Okay, I'm not. You can tell how invested I am in Jesse Matthews stock, but good for Jesse Matthews. He almost had that big catch.
I was gonna say he was also the target on that Paddock throw on what looked like the zero blitz.
Yeah, no, that's correct. He was actually. I'm thinking of James Washington, but I don't know why I'm thinking of those two together because those names really
probably because they got signed at the same time.
They did get signed. They did get signed at the same time. Yeah, James Washington total non-factor in this one, which I know is probably upsetting some people. So.
Yeah, don't tell Trayshawn. He's all in on James Washington.
The Ikic connection, I think Falcons do take a timeout here. Yeah.
I think it's the Oklahoma State connection on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, hey, this is exciting. Another preseason game right down to the wire. The Falcons are in the red zone.
Yep. Officially in the red zone, as Adnan said. Falcons pretty confidently continuing to run the football here, so they don't want to give the Ravens an opportunity to possess this ball again, which is probably smart. Justin
Hey,
Tucker can hit those 69-yard field goals or whatever.
hey,
So
John Paddock is he's moving them right now.
he's
He's
moving.
unlocking the offense. John Paddock is
John
unlocking.
Paddock is the secret. Yeah, there we go. Nice
Hey,
catch by Jesse Matthews. We do have a
that's
penalty.
five catches from Paddock.
I think there's a penalty on this one, but I think it's against the
Against
Ravens.
Yep, it will be
Yeah.
declined.
All right, Falcons gonna get the blood boiling here, one way or the other. either gonna let us down in the worst way, or get us that big dub. So let's see how it goes. Again, Adnan, like the end of this game is somehow the best part. Both weeks in a row now, where the only excitement of the whole game is at the end of it. So, hey, let's do it. Let's get it done. Let's see if we can get the John Paddock preseason. We were hoping for the Nathan Rourke preseason GOAT. Let's go for the John Paddock preseason GOAT.
Yep,
First
and it
and
is
goal.
Jason
Yeah.
Clellan
Oh man, Jaceris.
up the
There we
middle
go.
for the touchdown. And the Falcons will be going for 2 for the win.
Yep.
Here we go.
All right.
We're waiting with bated breath right now. The Falcons are
we are hyped. Yeah.
And they do not get the
We do not get it, but hey.
There's another handoff to Jace McClellan up the middle. Great play by Tavius Robinson out of Mississippi, who just jumps on Jace's back before he can really get anything going. Baltimore will win.
Yep. Yeah, no chance there. Penetration up the middle, and Tavius Robinson was basically had a free shot at the running back in the backfield as well. So Falcons will fall just short in this one, but nice touchdown drive there put together by John Paddock. Good for him, for sure. Definitely will help his chances and probably cement him as that practice squad quarterback for Atlanta. Kind of bold to leave the edge rusher completely unblocked on that run, but okay.
Yeah, they'll never see it coming.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yep. But yeah, like that's the thing. If this was a regular season game, we would go back and really lament on those missed kicks at this point.
Yeah,
when you lose
absolutely.
by 1.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, if it was a preseason game, they would go for the tie, and it would be.
Yeah, they would be going for overtime more than likely.
Overtime, but still, you would still lament it.
Yeah.
Not having
especially against the Ravens, you'd go for overtime because you know that Justin Tucker, like if they do get like that, like 1 point lead against Justin Tucker is not secure. Like and like obviously the 1 point lead or the 0 point lead, isn't very secure either. But it's not as valuable against a guy like Justin Tucker as it would be against pretty much any other team. So it's just not worth the risk more than likely. But yeah. Falcons we're gonna do a little return here. Hopefully not have anything absolutely terrible happen. But yeah, again, the returner gets to the 40, so could have been a sketchy situation either way. Justin Tucker potentially having an opportunity if the Ravens are able to get a couple more yards here to get a kick off. But yeah, I mean, obviously if the Falcons get those kicks, they win this game. No question. But let's hope that they just get the kicks. The hope is that Younghoe Koo is able to correct whatever problem was going. It seemed like it was the same problem on all the kicks. He missed to the left slightly every time. Hopefully the takeaway here is that Koo can figure out exactly what went wrong and just make a small correction, and it's not a problem in the regular season. And because of this game where he does have these misses, he's able to figure out that that's an issue, get it corrected, and move forward. You can use this game as a teaching experience. That's the positive interpretation. The negative interpretation would be like, oh, Koo's washed, and we're gonna have no kicker this year or something like that. I'm choosing not to go down that path after the second preseason game. If you want to, anybody in the chat, you're welcome to do that. I don't recommend it, but go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to either. I don't think we're going down that path yet, but Yeah, if we have if next week at the next preseason game he misses another 2 to 3 kicks, then it's like okay.
Yeah. I think at that point, yeah.
At that point, I'm gonna have Giorgio Tavecchio flashbacks where
Gonna call Giorgio back. We're so
if you
sorry,
remember,
Giorgio.
like, if you remember the Falcons, shout out to Thomas Dimitrov for moving on from Matt Bryant, uh, a lot earlier than he should have. You know, signs Giorgio Tavecchio, and remember Tavecchio in the preseason was a disaster,
Yep.
absolute freaking disaster. And then the Falcons, after the last preseason game, after they saw that he was just not it anymore, they re-signed Matt Bryant, and then Thomas Dimitrov tries to patronize the fan base by making that ridiculous video trying to tell us that this was part of his plan all along. And it's like, all right, like just admit that, just shut the fuck up and admit that you made the mistake. Like,
Yeah.
don't sit here pretending like you're some
Don't
mastermind.
BS us. We heard it from
Yeah.
Brian himself, Dimitrov, okay? You can't fool
Yeah.
us. We
Yeah,
got the
like
real
Matt Bryant
story.
came on the show like a year later, and he's like, "Yeah, that was bullshit."
He gave Matt Bryant has the receipts, okay? So yeah, enough of that nonsense. But shout out to Matt Bryant for a tremendous career, and thanks to everyone for joining us today on this preseason game. The Falcons get this one in just under the 3 hour mark. Pretty impressive stuff.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, great
Hey,
stuff there.
we're the
Yeah.
real winners today.
We are. We all win today because of that, as a result. But guys, thank you so much for joining on tonight today for our Falcons versus Ravens preseason week 2 watch party. We will have more stuff coming to you next week. I will have my roster projection coming out early next week. Then we'll, of course, have Wednesday's Falcoholic Live breaking down the game with Joe Patrick. And then we'll be back on Friday once again for the final preseason game coverage, Falcons versus Jaguars, the only home preseason game for the Falcons this year. So we'll check that out, and then we'll be on to the weeks of prep and roster cuts and all that stuff going into the regular season. So we've almost made it. One more week of preseason, and then we'll be getting on to that regular season prep. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Again, please like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Really appreciate that. Helps the show out. Leave a comment. Helps us out as well. Leave that 5-star review on your chosen podcast platform. And if you're interested in supporting the show, you can do so at Patreon. If you're a podcast listener, you can do so on the YouTube channel memberships if you're more of a YouTube viewer. And again, we've got the YouTube, we've got the supporter fantasy leagues that are getting started now. Anybody can get involved with that. Just make sure you sign up and get signed up in that form that's on those various pages within the next week or so we can get you into the leagues in time for the drafts to start. Appreciate everyone who is joining up to join us for those fantasy leagues. But yeah, Adnan, anything else you want to touch on before we sign off today?
Yeah, no, it's I was gonna say it was a great game, but no, it wasn't.
No.
Um, it was a great game for Chris Blair and Natrone Brooks. Big winners today for me. I think Carlos Washington was also a big winner, just given the usage in that first half. Jace McClellan ended up with more carries, more yards, like more efficient, but 9 to 2 in carries for Carlos Washington tells me a lot, and it tells me that yeah, this Carlos Washington wasn't on the bench in the fourth quarter for a reason in this game. I think he is firmly the wide receiver, or excuse me, the running back 3 on this team. John Paddock leads the really nice drive downfield. Um, losers for me in this game, Lucas Dennis, couple of bad plays. One of them giving up the third down, one of them which led to a touchdown. Um, Anthony Johnson, who gave up that double move route for the big play touchdown, which ended up being the game-winning touchdown. And yeah, Younghoe Koo missing 3 kicks, 2 for 5. But yeah, that's pretty much my take on it, having it completely fresh in my mind. But yeah, one more preseason game. Given what we saw today, I wouldn't expect there to be, you know, I would expect more of the same from today regarding who's
Yeah,
going to play.
me too.
And
This is
and then
typically the one where they would play starters. So,
yep,
yeah, I'm guessing that we won't see much, but who
yep.
knows? Could change.
Roster cuts will be exciting.
Yep.
Because now it's the new rule, right? Well, new recent rule. You go from 90 to 53 right away, and then that's going to be interesting to monitor. Possibly even some free agents that the Falcons could be considering. for depth purposes. And then, yeah, we will get into week one against the Pittsburgh Steelers just very shortly from now, and then yeah, we'll be off to the races, hopefully for a double-digit win season this year.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. I know you are as well. Another big plus. Looks like the Falcons, as far as we know, did not sustain any injuries today, which is tremendous after last week where we had two guys go down for extended time. I know the Dolphins had like two or three guys go down as well. So it looks like both sides come away from this one relatively unscathed. Happy for that. That's always the best case scenario. And yeah, we'll have lots more content coming your way, guys, both here on the show, on Falcoholic Live, and on the Dirty Birds and Brews podcast. And then, of course, on the site, thefalcoholic.com. We've got several new writers. We got a lot of energy, a lot of good stuff going to be coming your way from now all the way through the season and beyond. So definitely check that out. Check out Bet Online as well. Today's show, of course, presented by Bet Online. And yeah, guys, we will be back next week. Roster projection, Falcoholic Live, and then again, another preseason game on Friday. So we'll be ready for that. Probably go live, probably about the same schedule, right? 10 minutes before game starts. We'll be here for you guys. So looking forward to the end of the preseason and the start of the regular season, mostly because the Falcons have got us pretty damn hyped, right, at this point, and we're going to continue to... the hype train's gonna leave the station pretty soon on. I've been like holding back, but I feel like next live we're gonna unleash the hype train. So pretty excited about the recent moves, and we'll see if the Falcons got anything else up their back pocket. I personally don't think we're gonna see a whole lot more, but we'll see. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for joining us here on Falcoholic Live. We will see you guys next week for more terrific Falcons content. Until then, have a great day, folks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time.